Here we go, here we go, here we go. For another rock and roller on the road. From my neighborhood, gonna try to get as much sun as can. Gonna get some of that sun, sun. From my neighborhood in DG, Montreal, we're gonna go roundabout. Not decided if we're gonna go all the way to the mountain or not. Maybe gonna do a little snake. The point is that it got sunny now. It was very cloudy, so I kind of changed trajectory, you know. I was heading towards the mountain, but then I said I'm gonna go towards the other mountain. The sun might pop the king, and what a hell of a ride, you know. Geopolitics today. Gonna commence with gratitude. I gotta send some salutation to an anonymous acquaintance, friend acquaintance here from Montreal, Hog Island, Montreal, NDG, Cadenesh Borough, who gifted me these red shoes for the holidays, red shoes for the holidays, you know. So that's what it is with that. And marching in, I'm gonna be grateful, thankful, rents paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and celebrating, marking 5 years today. Special Dragon versus Trump edition, since of course I have survived COVID. I was very sick, ill and diseased. I thought those were my last days when I had COVID, and of course I survived. And here I am on this 5:44 p.m. EST, going towards the sun, and it was a very dark, cloudy day, and I said, hey, it's a dark, cloudy day, gonna head straight toward the mountain. But then the sun kind of pierced my Publik, pierced those clouds, so I kind of took like a snake, like a coiled snake, you know, and it's like turning the other way to go. So I said I'm gonna turn back south and head back west instead of northeast. So basically I was heading northeast, and now I'm gonna kind of go roundabout. For me to get the best possible, to get more sun, I'm gonna have to go straight towards the sun, I'm guessing now. I'm gonna have to go, I guess, straight towards the sun. That's it, that's all. Cling, and turn my head, and got that backpack on. So here, grateful, thankful, my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee. And it was a hell of a geopolitical day, and you know, I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who's on the march, rock and roll 24/7. For the butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, all involved in the production, distribution of food. And although joyous, content, happy, I could say even today, I'm still financially stressed, but my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, and these new shoes, auctioning everything that I'm wearing, including the red backpack, got some red gloves in it, and got this pants, the underwear, the socks, auctioning each item for $1 million to give half to my anonymous friend, who wasn't my friend because of the money. As I go Dragon versus Trump, still challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. Ever since the first imposition of tariffs, was that tower, give me some of that knowledge, wisdom, understanding with that game of that science, technology. Still challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border ever since Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel back in 2018. Gotta salute the train conductors. Gotta send some LOV to the train conductors, the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the firefighters, and all those involved in the production, distribution of food, you know, and all those, of course, now on the go. And gotta get my turn head left or right, because you never know. Sometimes the brakes malfunction and the citizen driver might press the accelerator instead of the brake by mistake. So I always gotta be on the chop lookout, because in the public I got added responsibilities, duties, and obligations. So encourage you all to work out, train, exercise. Working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice. And see, there's a little bit of a melt here, right here, and of course it was a little bit on that side of the melting. Hit 13 degrees about after 3 p.m. I saw 13. I said, wow, 13 degrees, and I guess now it's dropping, and it's supposed to drop by -7 tomorrow. So a big gap, you know, from 3 p.m. to today, from 13 at 3 p.m. today. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. is supposed to be -7, so that's 20 degrees, That's 20 degrees, and you know, I always get itchiness, and I scratch in places I shouldn't when there's fluctuations of weather or when I exercise a little bit too much. But anyways, truckers, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, firefighters, all those involved in the production, distribution of food. Gotta send them some love as I go on the march now, and always meditating to get a little bit of that love, and that's what it is with that. Some good. Hear people exercising, doing a little bit of that jog is always good, and put a little bit of color. Somebody put a little bit colorful. Some people have really talented on the graffiti, and I think we should finance it for those who have some of that good talent on the graffiti side of things, you know. I see someone is good over there using some red, some blue, some purple, but the other ones I don't know kind of too much. But I gotta say that some people are really gifted in the abilities to paint graffiti style, really beautiful works of art, you know. It's just that it's, of course, not a designated place. I think across the North American Collective, across North America, we should have designated areas where citizens can express, you know, their creativity. Express, you know. Because it's important to express, you know, and in a way that's not, you know, violence. I don't like violence, you know. I believe the area should be a place of playing games with consent and dancing and loving and working out, training in the streets, a place of joyful playfulness, you know, and it starts with me and you and beautiful blue sky there, you know. So here in the North American Collective, you know, super important to channel the aggression, you know. Aggression, you know, we gotta channel it, and I'm somebody who doesn't like violence, and today was a turbulent day again for the markets, you know, as I don't have any investment, you know. I'm grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bills paid, got food and coffee, but I got a lot of trillions of that rock and roll lyrics and kisses, credit from the forgotten goddess. Got those trillions of kisses and some LOV for the train conductors. Train conductors. That's what I do. Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow I'm heading for an appointment for my eyes with the optometrist. So I gotta go get those eyes checked, and gonna be some work with that, you know. Checking my eyes, and I think I have some impaired vision sometimes, you know. Paradoxically, I see a lot well during the daytime. So anyway, it's gonna be today. It was a turbulent day in the markets, and the flip-flop on the tariffs up and down, and then of course there was from Ontario, Doug Ford, Prime Minister, saying that he's gonna impose tariffs on taxing the electricity to a few states in the USA, and then Trump said he's gonna double the tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel from 25% to 50%. And you know, that's when I really got into politics for the first time, because I was more on the sidelines before 2018, and when Donald Trump imposed tariffs on Canadian aluminum and steel, 10% respectively in 2018, that's when I started challenging Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian border. Still am. And let's build together the North American People's Imperial Coliseum on the Canadian-US border there, where now the camera is pointing south. And this Quebecer Canadian who was born in the USA 3 times. Once as a woman, twice as a man, and served in the United States Armed Forces. 2 different wars, 156 years apart. 156 years apart, the war is war. And you get that 50-50 now, you know. You get that 50-50 with the kisses and the loving. So for the butchers, the firefighters, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, and all who change some diapers in the daycares, you know, changing some diapers in the daycares, and that's all they gotta do. So that's all we gotta get on the love, you know. So something which I know somebody gonna make some LOVE, because it's not all about the money. Wall Street is in the red again today, and maybe this Tuesday and yesterday Monday, a big day in the red was the commencement, beginning and start of a stock market crash of March, and maybe it's gonna keep crashing until Friday full moon. Is gonna drop like never before, maybe in the 21st century. And parallel to the great financial crisis which occurred between July 2007 and February 2010, something like that. And that was a big one, you know. So that's what it is with that. And Emma will challenge Donald Trump to a boxing match on the Canadian-US border. We will to build together via public-private partnership, of course, the biggest, 11 times bigger than any coliseum of the NFL on the Canadian-US border for sports in perpetuitas, have, of course, sports and fitness 24/7. Canada joined United States public-private partnership. Let's go NFL, NHL, NBA, MLB. Millionaires, Wall Street, MASH, finance, the dream. The dancing goddess in the dragon kingdom, which is fundamentally my dream for a public-private partnership across the collective North American civilization to build the Coliseum on the Canadian-US border, you know. That's what we will to do, and that's what I will to do with that. And parallel the forgotten goddess, GODDSS, the forgotten goddess temple, the forgotten goddess, GODDSS goddess, because I created Me Surviving COVID 5 years ago. This March is celebrating that event where I thought I was gonna die. In many ways I did die, and that's what it is for that. So that's what we gotta get doing, and I will to build the forgotten goddess temple, goddess GODDSS, the goddess temple on the Canadian-US border. Let's do it parallel to the North American People's Imperial Coliseum as we fuse together here the true North, strong and free. We're in the North, you know, but it's not enough to be strong and free. We gotta add some LOVE with that. And my brothers and sisters in the USA, of course, I'm no Trump supporter, no Trump supporter, no Trump supporter. I would have voted Kamala or Biden, but, you know, my dream the best for the public-private partnership to fuse in the North American civilizational collective, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Coast to coast, ocean to ocean, best to focus the defense and security on the ports and the airports, on the ports and the airports, on the ports and the airports, and my protocols for the 21st century, including the CIT, Citizen Integration Theory, the DRT, Debt Fusion Theory, and the Democratic Fusion Theory best. And right now I feel good. I always feel good when I work out, train, exercise, and it takes me a few minutes. I've been on the march already for like half an hour because I started recording afterwards, but nonetheless, you know, it's a nice day and feels like spring. And, you know, I call all to pledge your allegiance to our family. Pledge your allegiance to our family. Who want to support, I go up and down those stairs 300 times. $300 Canadian, we'll rock and roll, film it, blah, blah, blah. And yours truly, for the North American Collective, pledge your allegiance to our family. That is the song 24/7, and that is how we're gonna roll, you know, today as I celebrate 5 years since I survived COVID in 2020, between February 7th, 2020 and March 24, 2020, 5 years ago. I was really sick. I thought I was gonna die. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. Death, pestilence, and disease. Death, pestilence, and disease. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. When I say that, I know it sounds like a death hardcore, a kind of a song by Black Sabbath or another heavy metal death trash metal band. Death, pestilence, and disease. But that's how I felt, you know. And right in my underground room officer temple, I always say I died and I'm being reborn. Nothing that I will to go back. I live for today. Carpe diem it every day, but I have hope for tomorrow, and I believe for today and for tomorrow, my dream, and just fundamentally a call for a public-private partnership across the collective North American civilizational complex, across North America. I believe best to be implemented for the future and for a rebirth, security, and service. And my initiatives, of course, are strictly only for security, service, and defense, and the DRT for the creation of the Universal Exchange Unit best at this point in time where we are. And of course, I see that those clouds came back again, but I guess we can switch and go towards them and then go all the way to the mountain and clock it back in, you know, go in reverse or go south, go north. And at least I got a little bit of a sun. My Publik King, the sun, I got a little bit, so I got a little bit. The clouds came back. It was a dark, cloudy day, but nonetheless, you know, I got to rock and roll with it, and, you know, still get moody sometimes, but no longer depressed and suicidal, you know. Crossing Canada coast to coast, crossing Canada coast to coast, crossing Canada coast to coast, you know. Crossing Canada coast to coast, crossing Canada coast to coast. That's what I gotta get doing, and crossing Canada coast to coast really made me come out of being depressed and suicidal. And here I gotta get it on the whoop. I'm gonna slip and slide here. Maybe not that much. We're gonna go on the zigzag, and that's what we gotta get doing. Eh? So that's how we gotta get on the go, and that's how we gotta get on the zigzag here, because it's kind of mushy and I don't want to get my feet wet. Let's see, maybe jump on the other side best. Oh yeah, I think here is better. Sometimes you just gotta navigate, you know, through the ceiling. It's kind of like you're marching on steps, but you don't know what's underneath, you know. Kind of like in a bit of a rumble and a little bit of a situation where you don't really know, if you're gonna go a little bit deeper with the feet, just like on the mouth, where I go deep on the feet, and that's how we gotta go deep, sometimes. So just be prudent when you're outside, you gotta be on that prudent side. Sometimes like that, those corners there, you can just slide, slide and slip. It's like an ice rink, we gotta get it on the ice rink, and that's how we gotta get doing with that, and that's how we gotta get here. See, safe. Oh yeah, I slipped a little bit but didn't fall, and that's what it is with that, and that's how we gotta get doing on the XYZ. And here we gotta slip on the left and on the right, and just a foot in front of the other, and we continue our marching workout, marching dance workout, and that's what we gotta do with that, and that's what we gotta get doing on the Appellation here, where we are, involved in all these activities of civilization, and just having that water there, that's a privilege, Gotta thank the waters. Imagine all underneath the world, underneath how it's built, brains and muscle, how it tastes, all to have that potable water. Sometimes these little things, we take for granted, and of course meditating whatever the case is something which we gotta get doing on that, and so we gotta get doing on XYZ, and so we gotta get navigating here prudently again, because we got on the slip and slide. So I gotta bend my knees a little bit, and bend my knees a little bit more, and here is gonna be, here I gotta be more careful, because this is more icy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh yeah. Once again, grateful, thankful, rent's paid, electricity bills paid, and got food, and got coffee, and that's what it is. Sometimes gratitude is grateful mental health, and I live an austere, simple lifestyle, an austere, simple lifestyle, but I guess it's kind of a colorful lifestyle in many ways, a rainbow lifestyle, and that's what it is with that, and that's all we gotta get doing on the zone here. 5 years since I survived COVID, COVID for me was really hardcore. I thought I was gonna die, but in many ways I did die, and here we are. I used to do laundry right there. I used to do laundry in the back there. That's where I used to do laundry for many, many years, and I'm grateful, thankful, I got a machine, laundry machine, a washer and a dryer, so all these things, which better our lives, And of course today is tumultuous days with the tariffs, and
Le prochain train circule en direction de Candiac. Attention, le prochain train circule en direction de Candiac.
What the person said, the voice said, was that the next train is coming from Candiac. So we got French here in the Belle Province, and myself as a Quebecer, Canadian, North American, I believe my way of fusing Canada and United States best, because we have a common destiny, common future, and that's what we gotta get doing on the do, and that's why we gotta get some salutations, to the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, all those involved in the production, distribution of food, all those involved in the distribution of food, all those involved in the distribution of food and production, all those in the production and the distribution of food, you gotta get on them with that, and that's what you gotta get on the doing, to get it on the do, sometimes which we gotta be on the attention side, and sometimes we gotta be, rebirthing, I guess, or changing, and I've changed a lot, and I love to see the youth joyous, and that's how I gotta get doing like that. And I like to matchmake. I played black, white, or rainbow. But I'm gonna card you like a bar if you're gonna come loving with me. It's gotta be 18 plus for loving Rainbow Dragon. It's 18 plus, 18 plus. Just like in a club where I don't smoke cigarettes, but so just gonna go get some hydration and spit it over and go north, go south. Look at that beautiful clouds. Wow. Just beautiful. The heavens. Queen of heaven. Gotta sing it. Gotta see it. To believe it, rock and roll, I be it. 24/7, know that I sing it. For the flashing, for the butchers, for the bakers, for the nurses, for the truckers and the firefighters. Gotta sing it for those in the daycares who change some of those dirty diapers. For the workers, it ain't all about Wall Street. I already tell you everybody gotta eat. So we gotta get on that go, And here this has to be just put on the side there, and I gotta disinfect my hands, so I'm grateful, thankful for the water. Imagine all the work done underneath to have this water usually I let it run for a few seconds, and then I drive it in, and I'm gonna get a good hydration to go all the way to the mountain. We're heading to the mountain. All right, good hydration for the road, and let's go. Gotta get it for those marching steps, and you know, this is here. It's on the in Montreal Integree, and you gotta see it a little bit on that go, and that's how we gotta get it on the do, and sometimes we gotta get it on that XYZ for the gratefulness, you know. And now my brain, you know, switches to that geopolitics, because this is public transport, and I know that the train is going west, but I also know that there's a potential opening for sabotage and espionage, because we made potential enemies by our involvement in a military manner. You know, we provided armaments and military equipment and to certain countries, of which we have potentially made powerful enemies. So now with those tariffs, of course, looming, and being myself an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who marks survive COVID, you know, having survived COVID and having been here on the go, you know, that's all we gotta get it on the do. So survive COVID 5 years ago, wow. Between 2020, February 7th, 2020, and March 24th, 2020, March 2020, that's what it is, and that's what it is for the go with that, and that's what it is with XYZ, so that's what we gotta get doing, you know, and gotta be grateful for that. I always say I died during COVID, and it was really, I don't know, for recent memory, because I got retrograde amnesia, memory loss, blackouts of memory, you know, but nonetheless, in the past, I guess 7, 8, 9 years, that was the sickest I ever was, and I got triple vaxxed, 3 vaccines, and don't ask me to get more. You know, I do keep the protocols, public hygiene protocols, and I think it's important, because you never know, you know. You got bacteria, you got microbes, you got hygiene, you got bacteria, you got microbes, you got hygiene, you know. So we gotta get on that hygiene marching, you know. So it's XYZ, so that's all we gotta get doing with that, you know. And as I go on these long marches, always for the firefighters, always for the butchers, always for the bakers, always for the nurses, always for the doctors, always for those involved in the production, distribution of food, and gotta get those train conductors as well. And as I was saying, you know, that geopolitics, you know, as an Aspi, I got Asperger's, so I have what's called special interest, also known as obsessive interest, but personally do not use the word obsessive, since obsessive has a more negative sound to the word, you know. When you say obsessive, it's not really renders justice to what Asperger's is, because Asperger's is not a mental illness. It is a neurological mental divergent condition which makes me predisposed to special interest, and those special interests preoccupy my whole daily routines and daily habits, and you know, it's geopolitics 24/7 and rock and roll 24/7. That's how we gotta get doing with that, and that's how we gotta get on that salutation, you know. So we gotta get it on the go, we gotta get it on the do, we gotta get it on the XYZ, you know. So that's how we gotta get on the LOVE, you know. So it's something which we gotta interject, and something which we gotta be on that subscriptions and doing the things, because there's no medication for Asperger's. It's not a mental illness, so there's no medication, you know. There's no medication for Asperger's, you know. Asperger's, we just gotta do what we gotta do, and People have to be understood in those specific areas of interest, which of course co-relate to our special interest, to our special interest. So those special interests preoccupy the holy daily habits and routines, and that's what it is with that. That's what it is with XYZ, and that's what it is for the go, and that's what we just gotta rock and roll with it. So I can go in rock and roll trances for hours, but I've suffered struggle, lost employment, lost whatever the case may be, and I had much employment, which I loved, which I loved during COVID, but Asperger's, Aspies, there's high unemployment because, again, a lot of people misunderstand what it is and how Aspies view the world through a different neurological mental faculties. Our brains are different, so we have a disposition which makes us, our characteristics can seem like mental illness, or we can be said by that we are very weird, and in certain things we are very weird and we're less able. You don't have the abilities for socializing like, of course, many other neurotypicals do, and I'm part of this minority, less than 1%, less than 0.5%, 0.44% of citizens have Asperger's. So with Asperger's, it's not a malady, it's not an illness which has a treatment. It's just the characteristics are not symptoms, because symptoms is for an illness. But Asperger's is just how our brains are made different, so we can have difficulties in the social interactions, and we can have odd behaviors, whatever the case may be. So that's how we want to do it with that. So that's how we want to do it with that. So that's how we gotta get doing, so it's something which we gotta get on that XYZ, to get it on the love, so something which we gotta be on the awareness, that Asperger's, again, is not a mental illness, and it's not something which we can diagnose, and it's not something which can be treated in the fashion of an illness, which is per se, so hey, gotta sing some rock and roll for the boys and girls in blue. Ain't nobody perfect, that includes that, me and you, and sometimes we just gotta work on racism also, sometimes it's subconscious, just like Asperger's. People who have Asperger's, like myself, being an Aspie, sometimes, with employments and jobs, we don't socialize the same, because we have to be told directly, and we can seem abrasive, rude, or direct, rude, or abrasive, and sometimes being direct, rude, or abrasive can seem like we will to be rude, offensive by will, but it's not that. It's just because sometimes we have more difficulty putting on filters, I guess, and it's just the social etiquette, social norms of conduct, when to speak, come more difficult for us. So our brain is not wired the same, but we have our strengths, our strengths when it comes to the obsessive interest, the obsessive interest, also known as special interest, because using obsessive is more negative. Well, Aspies have to be understood and supported in those special interests, because those special interests we can really excel at. So we can really be good at those so-called obsessive interests, which are in reality special interest, special focus interests. And I spend hours a day doing geopolitical analysis, working out, training, exercising, and rock and roll, because dancing is my favorite sport and dancing is my favorite fitness. And now I'm marching dancing. I dance a little bit with my head and with my feet and with my toes and with my eyebrows and with my tongue, and I create choreography, when I march. I love dancing and choreography, so it's something which is my special interest as an Aspie, and I can dance for hours, or I can do geopolitics for hours. And sometimes when I start discussing geopolitics, you have to be told to stop, or in conversation sometimes, most aspects, we are neurodivergent. So the neurodivergence which we have is something which we gotta be on the go, so it's something which we gotta be meditating about. When I cross here the street, I gotta turn my head left and right, gotta turn my head left and right, so meaning that I have to turn my head left and right is something which I gotta be doing on that, it's something which I gotta be doing, so I gotta be turning my head left and right, something which I gotta be on the do. So it's not always easy for people in the workspace or in your work and employment to understand or even appreciate, because there's some appreciation, like that book that my anonymous friend gifted me, the book that my anonymous friend gifted me, appreciating Asperger's syndrome, but I mean, because we don't understand, for example, gossip, we just can't get in. Our brains are wired different, so we kind of don't see the purpose. We kind of say what for if the person is not there to discuss the person, or rather than the ideas or the principles and the positions, like when I say I challenge Donald Trump, I mostly attack the positions, the policies, the tariffs are wrong, and I always say there's no way to invite us, Quebecers, Canadians. You want to invite us? Consider the proposition and the invitation to become the 51st state. You got to do it with some marching bands. You got to do it with some baking apple pies. You got to do it with some sports. You got to do it with some loving. You got to do it with some dancing. You got to do it with some dancing. You got to do it with some football. You got to do it with some marching bands, with some cheerleading across the 50 states. I'm putting some invitations for Canadians to visit at low, reduced, or totally 100% financed tickets and motels and hotels, and with whatever food and the planes and the buses to go visit the 50 states. To go visit the 50 states, to visit the 50 states. That's what we gotta do. Red, my favorite color. To visit those 50 states. That's what we gotta do. That's the way to do it. That's the way, not by economic force, not by force. Say the goddess, I'm a piece of dust in front of the goddess, although credit me surviving COVID to the goddess, GODDSS, and I will to build the forgotten goddess temple. Forgotten goddess temple. Forgotten goddess temple. Will to build the goddess temple. Rainbow Dragon, get that priestess. Or the goddess bury me with Papa Crowley, turn me up in New Jersey. Third me up in Hampton, third me up in New Jersey, third me up in Hampton, third me, Hampton, third me, New Jersey, third me in Hampton, New Jersey, third me up in Mount Royal at the back of the Belvedere Chalet, headquarters of the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom, and a third, yeah, and a third, yeah, the third of the city of your pyramids, yeah. Hey, look at that light. Yeah. Bury me with Papa Crowd up in New Jersey, yeah. So that's that with that. And Pledge Your Allegiance. Allegiance is the song that our family got a lot of things to discuss, and I think potentially I say more than 51%, so I'm more than 50-50 on this one, that the stock market crash has begun. Stock market crash has begun. Stock market crash has begun. 51%, not 2/3. More than 51 plus, I would say 51+% on it. So now with the new events on the tariffs today, of course, was that on the latest that when I left, supposedly there was a rescission, meaning that there has been an annulment of imposing tariffs on of 25% on electricity exported to the U.S. from Ontario, and electricity exported from the U.S. to Ontario, from Ontario to the U.S. of electricity exported from Ontario to the U.S. because Donald Trump, in response to that, said that he's gonna, instead of 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel, is gonna be imposing instead of 25%, is going to double it to 50%. And so the market had a negative reaction, and it kind of been escalated ever since February. But hey, it's not the way to invite us 51st state and You know, I believe fusion in public-private partnership in the way of the European Union, but in the manner of the North American centric, because we North Americans, we constitute a North American collective. We are an emergent civilizational complex. Myself here as a Quebecer, Canadian, North American, this is home. Many past lives as well. 3 past lives post 1776, was born in the United States. Once as a woman, twice as a man, served in the same U.S. Armed Forces. Same armed forces, 2 different wars, 156 years apart, 156 years apart, 156 years apart, the war is war, but here crossing this bridge, gonna glimpse on the little sun, a little bit of sun, maybe a little bit of that sunset. The sun always rises, always sets. You know, the sun always rises, always sets, always rising, always sets. Always rising, always sets. The sun always rising, always sets. That's all we gotta get doing with that. That's all we gotta get doing with that, you know. The sun always rising, always sets. And that's all we gotta do, you know. That's all we gotta get doing on that, you know. The sun always rises, always sets. So that's all we gotta get doing on that go, you know. And super important to get it on the LOVE, you know. For the butchers, the bakers, the nurses, the doctors, the grocery store clerks, the firefighters, all those involved in the production, distribution of food, you know. We gotta rock and roll with that, man. And that's all we gotta get on that rock and roll, you know, on that LOVE to get it on them. And sometimes we just gotta be in the moment, you know. Because really today is all I have, you know. Like marking 5 years, I really thought I was gonna die, you know, of COVID. It was like death, pestilence, and disease. And I said, what is it? What is this sickness? What is this malady? What is this? I said, these are my last days. This is my last chapter. But it wasn't my last chapter. It wasn't my last chapter. It was not. I really thought it was. I'm being reborn, Adrian Hunter Dragon. Keep my holy sacred name out of your mouth if it's not for a blessing, Adrian Hunter Dragon. Keep my holy sacred divine name out of your mouth if it's not for a blessing, Adrian Hunter Dragon. Keep my holy sacred and divine name out of your mouth if it's not for a blessing. You know, and I don't like violence, you know. I don't like violence, but I'm intense and sporty and energetic, but I don't play that rock and roll turn the other cheek song, you know. I play that song, Rainbow Dragon song, may I be avenged 11-fold, just so that you know, so that I told, may I be avenged 11-fold, just so that you know, so that I told, may I be avenged 11-fold, just so that you know, so you've been warned. So let's get together, Canada, United States, implement my DRT theory, create the 2 complementary covenant and cooperative institutions, the Dancing Goddess DGA Army, DGA Dancing Goddess Army, aka the North American Integrated Dance League, the Dragon Army, the North American Integrated Security Service and Defense Force, based on my new 911 protocols for the North American collective in the 21st century. Some philosophies, and I'm a philosopher as well, and I've written tens of thousands of pages of philosophy, of art, of philosophy, whatever the case may be. And that's what it is with that, the philosophy. Like somebody flying that maple leaf, and let's merge. We got red and white and blue, and here to fleur-de-lis, and put some stars and maple leaf in those stars, you know, and the 7-pointed star for the DGA Dancing Goddess Army, for that goddess be nameless. As I get thundered on, because I'm a piece of dust. Just a nobody I am. Don't worry about me. But pledge your legions, and I got those trillions of kisses nonetheless. And the Dancing Goddess and the Dragon Kingdom is fundamentally a call for the collective North American civilizational complex. Here we are a new emergent civilizational complex. My brothers and sisters who are black, you know, 13.3, 13.4% blacks. My neighbors included blacks, and you know, we gotta work, and I want to see an executive order signed, and by the implementation of my DRT theory, we're gonna be able to do it, to rebuild the North American inner urban cities, the ghettos of North America. We gotta rebuild the ghettos, gotta mass financing the reconstruction of the ghettos of North America, and I think it's starting a little bit of that rain. So think I'm gonna have to put on the backpack a little something special, cause gotta put some to protect the backpack. So it's coming or not, maybe a few drops, 11 drops only. That was, I guess, maybe a little quickie. I'm not sure. He kind of came and kind of stopped. Nonetheless, I guess, thank you to my anonymous friend for getting me some protection. Hold on. Just gonna put that protection on the backpack, and maybe we're gonna have to do a shorty, or maybe like see you later for part 2, I guess. Maybe, let's see. See you later for part 2. I gotta get on the go, and that's what I gotta get doing here, you know. So we gotta get on that go, and that's what I gotta get doing on that. So I did. Here, I guess, the best place where I can find. Here it is. Got a little bit of that rainbow flag. Auctioning it for $1 million. That's not what I'm looking for, though. I'm looking for this one. And we're gonna put it here, right here, and that's what we're gonna get doing with that, and that's all we're gonna get doing. And thank you, my anonymous friend, who got me this orange protector for the rain. I'm gonna put it to protect my red backpack, and in the back here I got those red gloves. See here, and in case it gets colder, I got the scarf, and I got the gloves, got the boxing gloves. So put it properly. Let's go. There we go. That's what we wanted to do, and now we can go in the rain because I got the backpack protected. So rain, shine, thunderstorm, snowstorm, not snowstorm, we go to the mountain anyways, you know. Just how we do and how we roll it here in the concrete jungle. It seems like it starts, it stops. It starts, it stops, it starts, it stops. It's like a little bit of a, kind of like a little bit of a up and down with the clouds, I guess. Let me put on the other side. Alright. So, oh yeah. I got it on. And so I got it on. Yeah, that feels good with that, and yeah, now I can go and auctioning the shoes. Thank you again for my anonymous friend, anonymous acquaintance, who gifted me for the holidays these red shoes, red and white, and I'm still eager to put on the boots, steel toe boots for the first time those steel toe boots. Auctioning the old ones, in which I march more than the generals of the free world, and more than the generals of the free world during COVID, you know. March more than the generals of the free world during COVID with them of NATO. I I guess even today I could say I marched not all of them combined though, but today I'm probably going to march more than all the generals of NATO combined still. Miles and miles and miles, kilometers and kilometers, and do some push-ups, maybe do some stretches, and do some boxing moves, Dragon versus Trump. And now I'm going to discuss the DRT, debt refusion theory. Super important for me to discuss the DRT, debt refusion theory. Debt refusion theory for the creation of the U, because it's the only solution where we are now, you know. That's the only solution, due to the fact that we pay so much now in interest, you know. That's how we gotta get doing with that, and that's how we gotta get salvaging for the debt refusion theory, So the DRT, debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE. Here it goes, rock and roll, ready or not, here it comes. So the DRT theory, debt refusion theory, is my financial theory, and I make the statement that is the only solution or something very similar to it, which of course has to be implemented across both Canada and US simultaneously at the same time, because much of the public and the private financial situations of both Canada and the US are kind of similar and in equilibrium. They kind of jointly, both myself financially struggling, stressed with 10,000, and much of the financial, public and financial situation is pretty much similar for Canada and the US. So last year we paid 46.5 billion in interest on the Canadian public debt. Imagine 46.5 billion on the public debt of Canada. 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. That is a staggering amount of money which we paid on the public debt. That is a staggering amount of money which we paid on the public debt. On the public debt, just the interest, eh? Just the interest. And back, of course, back in 2020, the number was 2021. The number was 20.3 billion. So you notice, and yes, due to COVID. But what you notice is that the number has actually more than doubled, right? So noticing the number, the interest payments have more than doubled. The interest has more than doubled. The interest paid on the public debt has more than doubled. So that's where the problem lies. The fact that the interest payments have more than doubled. It's not sustainable. Exactly. It's not sustainable. So it cannot be sustained. And just like a financial principle for somebody, an individual, just like a principle for a financial principle for an individual, of course, it cannot be sustained, and that's what it is with that, and that's what we gotta get doing, you know. So the debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, the universal exchange unit, that's what we gotta get doing with that. So it's something which we gotta put in the work, and that's what we gotta get doing with that. So the debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, we gotta be implementing it. So the fact that we paid, of course, 46.5 billion in interest, 46.5 billion in interest, 46.5 billion in interest, 46.5 billion in interest. That is the amount, staggering amount which we paid, of course, 46.5 billion in interest. That's the amount which we paid in interest, 46.5 billion in interest. That's a staggering amount, because a billion has 9 zeros. A billion has 9 zeros. So that's the amount of interest only. So that is the fact and principle of financial principles, mathematical financial principles. Just like an individual, if an individual is interest payments more than double, let's say from 156 to 333, let's say from 156 to 333, let's say from 156 to 333, that means if the salary doesn't increase, that means that the individual has to cut, reducing the budget. The budget has to be reduced. What expenses. So whatever you're going to have to cut whatever they want to cut whatever you want to cut is, of course, whatever you want to cut, you know. So that's what it is with that. So you have to reduce the spending. You cannot spend the same. You have to reduce the budget. That's what it is with that. So you have to reduce the budget. You have to reduce what you buy, right? Because the income has not doubled. How many salaries you know that doubled? In the past 5 years, the average salary increase has been 4.4%. 4.4%. Average increase. Some have increased by more, by less. Even than 5, 10, 15%. But not a lot, not many. I don't know any who doubled salaries in 5 years. But that's what happened with the public debt. not the principal, but the amount of interest has more than doubled on the public debt. And if that happens for a citizen individual, that means that that citizen individual automatically, citizen individual has to reduce, cut the spending. You're gonna have to go out less, don't go to the movies, cut Netflix, don't smoke anymore, cut up on the booze, don't drink anymore. Things of that nature, they have to be reduced. The spending, the expenses have to be reduced because you have to pay more in interest, twice the amount. So that is just the financial mathematical principle, just doubling the interest, you know. I gotta be careful here because it's kind of slippery. So we're gonna go on the side here, make sure we don't slip. Whoop, yeah, it's like a skating rink. Here we go. Gonna bend the knee and make sure we don't slip on that. And we're gonna get going with that and make sure we don't slip. So just, of course, if interest payment is double, then you have to reduce. If your salary doubles also, then you can maintain it. But otherwise you go bankrupt. So it's the same financial principle with the public finances of Canada, right? And there's on the horizon, there's a possibility of a black swan in the public finances of Canada. On the horizon, there's a black swan possibility. On the Canadian horizon, there's a possibility for a black swan event. A black swan event, meaning that there's a possibility for a catastrophe of a financial nature, possibility of a financial nature of a catastrophe. That is just what it is. There's a possibility of a catastrophe of a financial nature, and it's on the horizon. It could start today, it could start tomorrow morning. And I go at 11 for my eye appointment, at 11 in the morning for my eye appointment. Got a beautiful blue sky. So that's just the principle. That's just the principles. So that's just the principle, mathematical principle. There's no way out of this but my DRT theory, debt refusion theory, or something similar to my debt refusion theory, which I'm now going to discuss. So we're going to take, and again I have to re-declare that the motive that I'm making the statement that I'm making is that the debt refusion theory is the only solution, or something similar, is the fact that the interest payments for the public debt has more than doubled. The interest payments only, it went on the public debt, and $1 billion has 9 zeros. So in 2020, 2021, the number was 20.3 billion. That's 20,000 million paid on the interest to 46.5 billion. So 46.5 billion is 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. 46,000 million. A billion has 9 zeros. A billion has 9 zeros. That's a billion. 9 zeros. So keep that in mind. That's a staggering amount. So there's no way out of this. You can argue all you want, but something not necessarily my theory per se, but something which strongly, powerfully equivalates or resembles my debt refusion theory, which my DRT also includes monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. In the European Union, they implemented the monetary integration theory. So integrated in my debt refusion theory is the monetary integration theory. And the monetary integration theory, of course, is the financial theory which was implemented in the European Union. The Europeans, of course, created the euro. They created a common central bank. And that common central bank, of course, is the ECB, you know. So that's what it is with that. And the creation of the ECB, the European Central Bank, was via the monetary integration theory, which is a financial theory which the Europeans implemented. They destroyed their national central banks. The Germans, they no longer have national central banks. The Italians, they no longer have national central banks. Many countries in Europe, they destroyed their own central banks and they annulled their own currency. So they have a common currency. The euro, and the ECB. The European Central Bank as a financial central bank, financial banking institution, which of course integrates that. And you gotta watch it for the car, move out of the way, car citizen, because who knows, maybe Police response has to go respond, save somebody's life. Save somebody's life or whatever the case. So when you hear the noise, you gotta be citizen prudent, and ain't nobody perfect, eh? That includes me and you. Ain't nobody perfect. That includes the boys and girls in blue. Somebody gotta sing it. Ain't nobody perfect. Somebody gotta swing those ships. So we got a reconciliation, and my CIT theory, citizen integration theory best. Citizen integration theory best, citizen integration theory best, citizen integration theory best. And my way of policing for the 21st century based on my philosophies, our best approach, in a more integrated manner. So back to what I was doing, the citizen integration theory, the CIT, and of course the debt refusion theory, back to the DRT, the debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, for the creation of the UE. So the debt refusion theory, that's what it is with that, that's what it is with that. So the debt refusion theory, gonna explain it now, gonna explain it now. So that's what it is with that, and that's how we gotta get doing, that's what we gotta get doing. So it's something which we gotta play that defense, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. So that's the defense theory, and of course we gotta get it on the XYZ. Now the debt refusion theory includes monetary integration theory. Again, you can argue all you want, but there's no way out of this situation where we are now, and this applies simultaneously for Canada and US. So I'm gonna explain it. And again, the debt refusion theory includes monetary integration theory. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, my $10,000 included, yours, ours, yours, mine, yours, coast to coast, ocean to ocean, all the debt, we're gonna add it together, coast to coast, ocean to ocean. All the debt added together, all the debt added together. We're gonna create a new currency. And that currency, of course, is gonna be called the UE. So all the debt, public and private, of Canada coast to coast, we're gonna convert it into US dollars. We're gonna add it with the US dollar. So it will take a public-private partnership to implement my debt refusion theory. So all the debt, public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt, all the debt, we're gonna convert it into US dollars, all that debt, public and private debt, that's gonna be the initial money supply for a new central bank, and all that debt is gonna be a new currency. So all that debt is gonna be a new currency, and of course we're gonna call the UE. The sun's starting to shine. What do I see? Kind of see like there's a little bit of sunset we're gonna get. Yeah, I guess so. Pierce those black clouds, I guess. Black dark clouds over Canada. Well, with this tariffs, and paradoxically, my debt refusion dream for both Canada and the US best for the course of action in being a pro-labor and love revolutionary centrist. My centrism is pro-labor and universal, is North American centric, and for the North American collective, as much as I am a world peace citizen, I am for world peace citizen. I'm a North American, and all who come to join us here in the free world, the new world, new civilizational collective, all who come to join us, greater extended family, and that's all we gotta get doing with that. That's all we gotta get doing on the go. So it's something which we gotta be on the functional elements. Yeah, the sun's coming out a bit. I guess the sun is always out somewhere in the world, and somewhere every second there's a sunrise and a sunset everywhere. In the world there's a sunset and a sunrise everywhere. In the world there's a sunset and a sunrise, Everywhere in the world there's a sunset and a sunrise every second. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, Push that. I love seeing people work out. Brings me some joy because that's what I'm doing now. So all the debt, public and private debt, all of it, we're gonna add it all together. Convert it to US dollar, all the Canadian public-private debt, we're gonna add it all together. All the public and the private debt, we're gonna add it all together. And that debt is gonna be added with the US debt. All the debt, public and private, converted to US dollar, is gonna be the initial money supply initial money supply for a new central bank, whatever we call it. This new central bank is going to issue a new currency. We can call it the new dollar, but what is the money? Money is a exchange unit to trade, buy, sell, right? So we're going to call it the UE. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. U dot universal, E dot exchange, U dot unit. The UE, the UE, the UE. The UE, the UE, the UE. The universal exchange unit is going to have, the universal exchange unit is going to have the same value of the currency as the United States dollar. So Canada joined US and it could be extended. Mexico is part of the North American Collective. Mexico and Haiti, the Dominican Republic, and whatever other countries in the North American Collective, and it can be extended beyond, NATO, but simultaneously implemented just like the establishment of the NHL for both Canada and the United States. For both Canada and the United States as a principle. So this UE, Universal Exchange Unit, gonna have the value of the US dollar, and we're gonna cap the interest rates of 10% minimum, maximum 10%, maximum 10%, maximum 10%. Minimum, I guess, is 0, right? By default, is 0. So by default is 0. So we're gonna cap at 10%. It could be less, 3.33, 7.18, 4.18, 9.3, 6.1, whatever the case may be, 6.1, whatever the case may be. So all the debt is going to be, of course, the public-private partnership is going to be a new debt. So all the debt is going to be all the money in circulation. All the money in circulation. That's going to be all the money in circulation. In circulation. All the money in circulation. That's going to be it, So all the debt, public and private debt, is going to be the initial money supply, It's going to be the initial money supply. So we're going to set an interest rate level of 10%. 10%. Turn your heads left and right here. 10% is going to be maximum. It can be below 10% by principle, but not more than 10% by principle. So it's going to be 10%. It could be 3.33 or 7.18, 3.33, 4.18, whatever the case may be. It could be below 10% by principle. So all the money is going to be the money in circulation. So all the money is going to be in circulation. All the money is going to be in circulation. The public and the private partnership for the creation of the DRT, debt refusion theory, to get it on the go. So that's what it is. So all the debt, public and private debt, is going to be the initial money supply. Public-private partnership. We're going to create a new currency called the Universal Exchange Unit, the UE, and all that money is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank. All that money is going to be initial money supply for a new central bank. That's what it is. That's, the youth are happy, I'm happy, That's what it is with that. So that's how we're going to get doing, and got to get on that go, So it's something which we got to get doing, So that's what we got to get doing on the XYZ, So we got to get doing, So it's something which we got to be on the transmission lines, and they got to get it on the go, and that's why they got to get on the do, So debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE, the Universal Exchange Unit. That's why we got to get on the move, and we're going to create this new currency on the XYZ, and that's what we're going to be for the youth, and we're going to create a new currency, the UE, and all the money in circulation is going to be the initial money supply for a new central bank, and that's what we're going to get doing with that XYZ, and put an interest rate level of maximum 10%. It could be below 10%. It could be 3.33, 7.18, 4.18, whatever the case may be. So below 10%, 1.56, 6.1, 9.3, 4.18, 7.18, whatever the case may be. That's going to be the new interest. And with that money, we're going to be able to rebuild the North American infrastructure, the North American Collective. We're going to be able to rebuild the infrastructure of the North American Collective civilizational complex. We're going to be able to mass finance citizens' fitness activity and youth, you know. The LOV for the youth. And if they're going to be, whatever they're going to be doing, dancing in the streets best, safely. You know, that's my joy, and they're happy, they're joyous, and that's what matters, you know. At the end of the day, I got their backs coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and I guess they're gonna be, maybe I'm not speculating any relationship, whatever, you know, consent, hygiene, but you wanna come LOV with me, black, white, men, women, but I'm gonna ask for your cards, you know, otherwise you get a hug, you get a HUG only, you get a hug only. I gotta send you back. You gotta be 18 for special rainbow dragon loving, you know. You can get hugs. Hugs you can get. Hugs you can get. Hey, the youth, man, that's what matters. The youth of the collective, let's build. By the DRT and the creation of the UE, we're gonna be able to build those 44 tunnels, build those 44 tunnels, build those 44 tunnels. The number after 43 is 44, before 45. 44 tunnels for the North American Collective, and that's what matters, you know. I mean, they're happy, I'm happy, you know. And I saw some youth smiling and joking, teasing each other, and that's what's important, consent. And, you know, it's a way to invite us. And let's fuse, let's get rid of the border, implement the DRT with that money. Let's build the infrastructure, rebuild the infrastructure of the North American Collective, build those 44 tunnels inspired by the Cheyenne Mountain Complex in case of a thermonuclear war, and for the continuity of the North American Civilizational Complex, for the continuity of the North American Civilizational Complex, for the continuity of the North American Civilizational Complex, for the continuity of the North American Civilizational Complex. And see, that's a good omen with the sun who dispersed the clouds and the youth smiling. That's all the omens I need, you know, for me. Broke, financially stressed, but my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee, and I got $5 in the pocket to give me some sweets for my return back. Give me some sweets to celebrate. Probably gonna try to get wafers somewhere, because you know I go crazy on the wafers, eh? So the DRT, Dental Fusion Tree, for the creation of the UE, implemented simultaneously across the North American Collective. That's all we gotta do, and that's all we gotta get doing, and set an interest rate level after that on the UE of 10% maximum. It can be less but not more, and with that money we're gonna mass finance citizens' fitness activity, rebuild the infrastructure of the North American Collective, rebuild the ghettos, and mass finance the rebuilding of the infrastructure, mass finance the rebuilding of the infrastructure, mass finance the rebuilding of the infrastructure, build those 44 tunnels, and mass finance youth sports and fitness and dancing, and mass finance tourism across the North American complex, because tourism is of course a North American complex, and tourism does good for mental health. To visit Canada coast to coast, and Canada-US joint, and 2017 when I traversed Canada coast to coast, that event made me come out of being depressed and suicidal, you know. Before that I was depressed, I was suicidal, and crossing Canada coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and that gave me out of being depressed. That was like a change of events in my whole life. I started working out, training, exercising after that, and I was depressed, I was suicidal, I was depressed and suicidal, and I survived, and I got out of being depressed. By crossing Canada coast to coast, I established a strong esprit de corps with my fellow Canadians and Quebecers, Canadians, North Americans, my brothers and sisters down in the south, because we're north of United States, you're south of us, so it's going to be a fusion kind of between the north and the south. And of course, we got to get some of that loving, and that's all we got to do, you know, some of that loving with it, and it's something which tourism is super important. The sun is red and rising, red and setting, always red and rising, red and setting. My favorite color, like the scarf I'm wearing. Auctioning it for $1 million to give half, 50% to my anonymous friend, and here we go. I'm work. This is my work, you know, and we gotta work tool with that, and sometimes which we gotta get on that work tool is something which I gotta be on the love, and the youth are happy, dancing, joyous in the streets. I'm happy. That's all I need. I know I don't need much. I don't like to be in debt, $10,000, but I like to work, and this is my work, and my DRT theory comes out of the curse of Asperger's, being that geopolitics is my special interest, and that's what I am also a geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, and by implementing my debt refusion theory, we're going to be able to do lots of good. Mass finance citizens fitness, mass finance the building of more hydroelectric dams here in Quebec, build more hydroelectric dams here in Quebec, build more hydroelectric dams here in Quebec, build more hydroelectric dams and rebuild the infrastructure. Mass finance citizens fitness, mass finance citizens fitness, and mass finance citizens fitness with that, and that's all we got to go doing. And so we'll rebuild infrastructure, mass finance tourism, and build more hydroelectric dams, and build those 44 tunnels, and finance the complementary covenant and cooperative public-private partnership institutions, the Dancing Goddess Army, the DGA, the North American Integrated Dance League, the North American Integrated Dance League, the North American Integrated Dance League, and the Dragon Army, the DGA Dragon Army, DGA Dragon Army, DGA Dragon Army, and the DGA Dragon Army for the North American Collective Security, Service and Defense, Security, Service and Defense for Security, Service and Defense, Security, Service and Defense, you know. And I don't know about only the true north, strong and free, because strength and freedom is not enough, eh? We gotta add some loving, just like the home of the brave, on the land of the free. You gotta add some loving. That's the dragon way you see. So the DRT, debt refusion theory, which in my debt refusion theory is integrated monetary integration theory. That's what I'm calling for its implementation, and we just gotta do it, and we gotta implement it, and that's why we gotta do it with that. Shake those ships left and right, and you know, let's fuse and let's get defense for the airports and the ports. More defense. We don't need the border. We don't need the border. We don't need the border. We're gonna make a census. North American census, North American census, North American census, and North American census of the population, the North American census of the population. We got to make a census, a great North American census to see everybody who's been living here for the past 5 years, and let's say 5 or 7 years, 5 minimum, 7 preferably. Between 5 or 7, and it has to be a person, citizen, who has lived here, who has not parted for more than 6 months to whatever be served in those 2 institutions, you know. Certain, you know, have to be some regulations and rules, but we have to do a census and create a common passport ID for Canada-US joint, and then focus security on the ports and the airports best. Ports and the airports best, because that's where the fentanyl kind of comes in and all that other jazz. So that's best. The border is no needed, and we're spending the money for money and resources. It's best coast to coast, ocean to ocean. Pledge your allegiance to our family, and gonna sing some of that rock and roll. We gotta switch a little bit to that French because we love Privee. And once again, encouraging all to work out, train, exercise, and working out, training, exercising has been, is, and will be my medicine and therapy of choice. You know, here in Montreal, Hokkaido, we gotta get it on the go. So that's all we gotta get doing with that. And sometimes we just gotta shake the hips and do on the starlights, and getting on the XYZ, you know, for the XYZ. And that's all we gotta get doing here, though. Peace, you know. Peaceful in the streets and channel the aggression, you know. I saw a government of Quebec, a nice video, which of course says the wave of peace, you know. The wave of peace, 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 you know. That's all we gotta get doing with that. And here, I wish I could afford some of those, but financially stressed. I lost. It's okay. You eat for me, hug for me, but you know, with Asperger's is something which, of course, have lost many employments, opportunities, and of course, have lost much employment with that. And Aspies were still a lot of us misunderstood. I just wanted to see if there's. No, I couldn't see from far. I wanted to see if there's a job openings, because maybe they need some heavy lifting here, you know. So that's what it is with that. So maybe they need some heavy lifting or whatever, because I'm always looking for business and work. And being an Ashby, you know, I love much opportunity, and I had a lot of jobs during COVID, you know, lots of jobs during COVID. Some that I really like, some was a few months, but again, Ashby's, you know, were misunderstood, and I'm living with a neurological mental divergent condition, which is not a mental illness. It's just our brains are different. So we're just part of this tiny minority, myself included, which makes us have also strengths. And the DRT theory comes of many years spent with the curse of Asperger's, which lots of closed doors, and have lived trauma, survived COVID, celebrating surviving COVID today, 5 years. I have also predicted back in 2019 in October, November, an international conflagration. I got proof of work because I'm an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist, and I predicted an international conflagration back in 2019. I predicted an international conflagration back in 2019, and that's what I am, an independent geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist who has predicted an international conflagration across the world, and based on one of my main premises that many civilizations, nation states and regions were not able to fully resolve their conflicts, which predated this 21st century, which dated from the 20th century, especially from the Cold War period. And I predicted, of course, that they were not able to resolve their conflicts, and that in fact there was going to be a continuity. They're going to restart and re-intensify and recommence in the 21st century, and that's what's happening in the Middle East. Israel-Palestine is a conflict which dates from the 20th century. The Hamas was formed during the Cold War, and Russia-Ukraine is another one, and potentially on this horizon, the China-Taiwan on the horizon, the China-Taiwan on the horizon. So that's how we gotta get doing with that as the full moon approaches. So the China-Taiwan situation, that's what it's gonna be, and potentially on the horizon is a possibility, of course, a conflagration which spills from the Taiwan and the China complex, and that's what is possibility, of course, to begin as soon as I get back home by midnight. I should be there by latest, I say maybe midnight or 11, because I'm not gonna go more than 6 hours, that's for sure, because I want to get up and down. Yesterday I clocked in 4 hours and 44 minutes, and from Monday to Friday I got to average more than 4, so I'm on the path to average more than 4 as the moon is getting full moon. Sabbath weekend coming up with a big cleaning Friday, and by Monday I guess a lot of things gotta go, washing everything that I'm wearing, and gotta love to see that red, as the favorite color, which we gotta do it on the go, and gotta get it for the LOV. Thank you for a beautiful smile and a beautiful salutation, and gotta salute me for that red, and I always love to get a good smile from citizens, and I was so intense focused on what I was gonna say, but I was gonna stop to say a quick hello, but I just smiled and nodded, and my fellow citizen gave me a smile and nodded, and wear my favorite color, red, and I gotta put that red for the Dragon Army and that green for the Dancing Goddess Army, wearing that green hoodie, and my fellow citizens' safety and joy is important. And like I was saying, the government of Quebec has a peace wave, peace wave. It's mostly in French. I didn't see the English version, but it's let's start a wave of peace, so that our streets, our neighborhoods, and this can be applied across North America. It's from the Minister of Public Security, so that we have a wave of peace, wave of peace, and instead of violence in the streets and coercion, intimidation, and fear, I'd rather be seeing people consent and hygiene and dance, and cannabis is legal. Cannabis is legal in Canada, coast to coast. So smoking a little bit of good if you're 18 plus, I don't encourage it, I don't suggest it, but it's legal, so you can relax and go to the mountain, and so many things to see. And there's a good campaign from the government, I find, to so that our streets need to just be turned into areas of playfulness, playground. It's a playground. So let's try to just manage the violence, just channel this aggression by sports and fitness, and Dragon Army motto, channel the aggression by push-ups and hugs, and play, and we're gonna play that defense, like that harbor ball. And I think I got 8 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Maybe I'm gonna make it in time. Yeah, I guess gonna have to rush a bit here, but I made it in time, I guess. Gonna split those steps quickly. Yeah, and that's what it is. And sometimes we just gotta admit, certain things where myself, my financial stress is just stress, and I've been depressed, been suicidal, and it's something which we gotta live with. But I love, and I will to be loved, and more than my joy, to see the youth happy and joyous. It's always something which brings me joy and happiness. That's kind of what I like with my neurodivergence, I guess. It's misunderstood. We have emotions, we have feelings. It's just we kind of show them and portray them in a different manner, in a different manner, which of course are different. We're different manners of how we ask because we show more by action. Sometimes we seemingly don't show them by other means, perhaps less sentimental, maybe not in a sentimental manner, but with concrete gestures and actions by doing, I guess, or offering certain things to do if we can, or rather than console verbally and verbal consolations or verbal consolation. So it's just an aspie way of showing compassion is more action based rather than like verbal consolation and verbosities and just paying lip service. But it's more of a different way of managing the things which we gotta manage on the love, because there's some things which we gotta do and some things which you always gotta be aware of. Myself always have to build bridges with the neurotypical world, always have to build bridges with the neurotypical world. So it's always building bridges between myself and the neurotypical world, and sometimes it can be hard and painful, and Aspies and the community and part of this tiny minority of people with Asperger's, HFA, it's not always easy, and a lot of Aspies are prone to depression and suicidal, and often because employment problems and being misunderstood and friendships, and how rock and roll, just to be clear, and friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance to our family, friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance to our family, friends with benefits only. Pledge your allegiance to our family, Pledge your allegiance to our family, and for loving me that good, Rainbow Dragon, you gotta be 18 plus, eh? I'm gonna ask for your cards, and I'm gonna send you to go until you're 18. You're gonna come back. So come back in a year or two, or whatever the case may be, I guess. So this is saying here there's some work being done there, but I think that's already done. I'm not sure. And it's French here in Quebec, la belle province, and sometimes we got bilingual, and see the children dance. Don't know if they're gotta be on the XYZ and gotta be it on the go, so we gotta be on the love, we gotta circumvention on the love, and sometimes we just gotta do, to be aware of certain ice here. See, this could be a little bit of tricky side for children. It's a little bit of snow mixed with ice, so we gotta be aware of that for the snow, and that's what it is for the snow. And we gotta switch it to that belle province because we made the great compromise, and I wish I could afford a massage therapy session now. You know what? Wall Street. I wish I could afford a massage therapy session, but Wall Street, billionaires, millionaires, you know what? Finance the firefighters, finance the nurses, finance the doctor. A good massage therapy session, because I took a bath earlier, almost 45 minutes. I took a bath, and that's what it is with that. So having taken a bath is something which I gotta be also meditating that my bath is something which alleviates my soreness. But nonetheless, for years and years and years, I've been craving a massage therapy session, but I'm willing to exchange a trade. Let's trade. If you're going to the mountain, Montreal, Hug Island metropolis of 2.5 million people, that's what I gotta do. But finance the massage therapy session for the firefighters, and the butchers, the nurses, the doctors, and the grocery store clerks. You see, as it's on the full moon there, almost 3 more days. It's gonna be a full moon weekend. Friday, I guess it's Thursday, so Thursday in the AM, around 3 a.m. Thursday beginning. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday until Sunday. So until Sunday is going to be full moon from Thursday to Sunday. That's what it's going to be. So we're going to rock and roll a lot and do a lot of cleaning. And, you know, I got a candle which I'm going to light and do my special moon salutations, loving with that rock and roll. And that's how we got to go drilling. And you know, I gotta be always grateful and mindful that carpe diem it every day for me and with hope for tomorrow. And you know, when I had COVID, I thought that was it. Today it was in the news that supposedly around 5 years ago, COVID was declared a pandemic. But I started feeling ill at the beginning of February. So I started feeling ill at the beginning of February. Before COVID was in the news, really, right at the beginning. And I was very sick, ill, and diseased. I thought I was going to die. And I always say in many ways I did die. I died. Nothing that I will to go back. Just living for today. But I got great hope. Especially to implement my debt refusion theory. The DRT. Debt refusion theory for the creation of the UE and for the CIT, and parallel with the citizen integration theory and the debt refusion theory, the DRT debt refusion theory and the CIT citizen integration theory, and of course the DFT, the democratic fusion theory. You gotta watch it sometimes with the cars, you know, because the brakes malfunction. Citizen driver might press the accelerator instead of the brakes, so we always gotta watch it with that, you know. Always gotta watch it. Always gotta watch it with that, so get hit by the car, man. Gotta get hit by the car, you know, so that's all we gotta be. They almost came close, see? Not like a meter maybe with that, you know. So that's all we gotta get doing, you know. Just on the go. Stiff on the go, man. gotta be on the door, you know. So something which we gotta be implementing, you know, as the sun rises, sun sets. Switch it to that French because we're in la belle province now. Gotta sing it for the melody, you know, and gotta press it a little bit of that here. Let's get it. That's what we gotta get doing, you know. Anyways, let's switch to that French now. Et la lune, la pleine lune, je viens de voir quasiment qu'il y a eu, c'est comme s'ils se sont donné un bisou, tu sais. La pleine lune, mais c'est pour ça que je dis toujours qu'il faut faire attention, tu sais, parce que quand on traverse la rue, tu sais, les automobiles, des fois, le frein fonctionne mal. Si le frein fonctionne mal, ça pèse sur l'accélérateur, tu sais, à place de peser sur le frein. Fait que c'est toujours quelque chose que je dois quand même faire moi-même en tant que citoyen. Avoir comme la prudence, faire attention, tu sais, être vigilant, d'autres mots, tu sais, une vigilance vis-à-vis les conducteurs, parce que tu sais, c'est possible que ça arrive. Puis aujourd'hui, dans mes marches, sur ma marche entraînement de danse, bien sûr, je célèbre encore 5 ans depuis que j'ai survécu la COVID, hein, jusqu'à la semaine prochaine, mais je continue à célébrer la victoire que j'ai eue sur la COVID, parce que entre le 7 février 2020 et le 24 mars 2020, ça fait 5 ans, j'ai eu la COVID, j'étais vraiment malade, je pensais vraiment que j'allais mourir. Puis je pensais vraiment que j'allais mourir, mais je dis souvent, mais je suis mort durant la COVID, il n'y a rien que je veux retourner en arrière, puis je pensais vraiment que c'était mes derniers jours. Je pensais vraiment, là, je dis, c'est mon dernier chapitre, puis je dis souvent, je suis mort dans ma grotte de la COVID, puis je suis en train de renaître, puis mon dragon arc-en-ciel, puis j'ai l'autisme mouvement fonctionnel Asperger, messieurs, madame 50-50, qui vous chantent pour aller à la danse. Puis bien sûr, je vis un stress financier en ce moment, mais je dois quand même dire ma gratitude parce que j'ai payé mon loyer, j'ai payé ma facture d'électricité, j'ai du café, j'ai du thé, puis du café j'en ai quand même beaucoup, mais J'ai de quoi manger, j'ai même du sucre, j'ai quelque chose de sucré, pas beaucoup de sucré chez nous parce que j'aime ça le sucré, là, mais c'est bien sûr, j'aime bien le sucré, hein, les gaufres, j'aime bien ça, fait que en faisant cette vis-à-vis dans cette instance que je suis ici bien sûr en marchant vers la montagne, je me dirige bien sûr vers la montagne, puis je viens discuter ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, puis je dois quand même faire des salutations aux pompiers, aux camionneurs, aux boulangers, ceux qui travaillent dans les entrepôts, les travailleurs du collectif nord-américain. Aujourd'hui, c'était quand même une journée assez encore rouge, dans le rouge. Ma couleur préférée pour le positif, mais c'était dans le négatif à la bourse. J'ai pas d'argent pour la bourse moi-même. Dans la bourse, je vis un stress financier, mais pour dire quand même qu'à cause des tarifs, puis il y a eu encore une révision vis-à-vis des tarifs, parce que bien sûr, Doug Ford, le premier ministre de l'Ontario, il a fait bien sûr une révision, puis il a dit qu'il va imposer 25% de taxes ou de tarifs sur l'exportation vis-à-vis l'exportation des États vers les États-Unis de l'électricité de l'Ontario. Fait que ça a fait un reverbement, puis Donald Trump il a dit qu'encore il va doubler les tarifs sur l'aluminium et l'acier de 25% à 50%. Fait que ça a fait comme un débordement, c'était tout quelque chose, puis là il y a eu une révision qui ne va pas en avoir ces tarifs-là parce que Doug Ford, le premier ministre, il a dit en conséquence qu'il ne va pas imposer ces tarifs de 25%. Fait qu'il y a comme un recul, là, puis c'était quelque chose qu'on va voir. Puis vous savez que moi-même, je suis un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique qui a prévu une conflagration internationale sur une troisième guerre mondiale en 2019, en octobre, en novembre. Parce que j'ai l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, l'Asperger's, puis la géopolitique, c'est mon intérêt spécial, aussi connu comme un intérêt obsessif. Fait que je suis moi-même un analyste intéressé en géopolitique, puis je passe des heures par jour en tant que rituel quotidien, une routine quotidienne. Il faut que je fasse des études puis des analyses en géopolitique à tous les jours. Des fois, je passe plus que 6, 7, 8, 9, 10... Des fois, c'est 11 heures par jour que l'analyse en géopolitique, aller-retour, puis des révisions du passé, puis du présent, puis des spéculations, bien sûr, spéculation d'une manière, plus avec le discernement, puis l'intelligence. Puis l'intelligence, bien sûr, parce que, tu sais, ça prend un discernement, puis une intelligence, puis une sagesse pour démêler tout ce qui se passe dans la géopolitique, bien sûr, parce que c'est tout un univers, puis ça comprend l'histoire, ça comprend la religion, ça comprend les finances, ça comprend la culture, ça comprend la langue. Puis ici, bien sûr, en tant qu'analyste et théoricien en géopolitique et philosophe, en tant que Québécois, Canadien, Nord-Américain, je dis souvent qu'ici, notre collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord, on constitue un collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord, un collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord, on constitue un collectif nord-américain émergent qui n'est pas divorcé de l'Occident, mais on a des distinctions quand même, parce qu'en tant que Québécois, dans l'Amérique du Nord, on a fait le grand compromis, qu'est-ce que j'appelle bien sûr le grand compromis linguistique du français pour avoir la continuité de la paix. Tu sais. C'est sûr que des fois, il faut qu'on donne, ils ont fait des révisions, mais généralement, on a été capable de résoudre nos problèmes de cette manière, de faire des résolutions pacifiques de cette manière ici dans le collectif de l'Amérique du Nord. Puis tous ceux qui viennent nous rejoindre, évidemment, mais c'est quand même qu'il faut que j'y travaille moi-même, tu sais. Parce que si moi-même, je le fais pas, tu sais, en tant que citoyen, puis il y a une manière, bien sûr, de faire la révision, bien sûr, de ces choses-là. Puis c'est une manière aussi de faire l'encouragement du français, le soutien du français. Ça prend une action à l'individu aussi. Puis c'est sûr que moi, avec l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, l'Asperger's, du côté du français, mais moi, mon autre intérêt obsessif, j'utilise pas obsessif parce qu'obsessif c'est plutôt négatif, mais l'intérêt des intérêts spéciaux des Asperger's, moi j'en ai 3, la sainte trinité de votre dragon arc-en-ciel, puis ça inclut le rock'n'roll, parallèlement avec la géopolitique, puis le sport, l'entraînement physique. Le sport que je préfère et l'entraînement physique que je préfère est la danse. Et bien sûr, c'est par le rock'n'roll. Mes philosophies, mes théories, tout ça aussi, mais principalement, c'est par le rock'n'roll que je mets en valeur, mais le français du Québec. le rock'n'roll, puis j'en écris des poésies, mais mes poèmes, c'est toute la comédie avec le rock'n'roll. Fait que c'est ces choses-là qu'il faut que moi-même que je fasse, tu sais. Fait que c'est des choses-là qui des fois sont plus difficiles de comprendre pour ceux qui n'ont pas l'autisme hautement faisant, qui sont pas aspis de... Il y a souvent un malentendu vis-à-vis les autismes hautement fonctionnels, puis moi-même, tu sais, j'ai eu bien de l'emploi que j'ai bien aimé, mais malheureusement, à cause de l'Asperger's, ben, tu sais, des fois, ça dure un couple de semaines, un couple de mois, mais c'est des choses que c'est plus difficile, tu sais, avec l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, parce qu'encore une fois, c'est mal compris, c'est vu encore comme une maladie mentale, mais c'est pas une maladie mentale, c'est juste une condition de neurodivergence. Ça fait qu'on a ses intérêts spéciaux, puis ça préoccupe notre journée, nos routines, puis dans les conversations, on peut avoir de la misère dans le comportement, les normes de la société, comme par exemple, savoir la distance, la distance personnelle. Des fois, un aspect, comme moi-même, je me rapproche tellement proche des gens, fait qu'il faut que ça leur rend inconfortable. C'est pas parce qu'on a la volonté d'être méchant ou quoi que ce soit, c'est juste que ces choses-là sont plus difficiles pour nous de comprendre, parce que notre cerveau est fait différemment. Fait que notre cerveau, comment il est fait, c'est d'une autre manière, c'est juste ça. On fait juste... Ça rentre, c'est difficile. Il faut toujours qu'on bâtit des ponts, qu'on construit puis bâtit des ponts envers les neurotypiques. En tant que neurodivergent, je fais partie de cette communauté de moins d'1%, moins de la moitié d'un pourcentage. C'est à peu près 0,44% des citoyens qui vivent avec cette condition de neurodivergence. C'est juste que ça fait qu'on a ces caractéristiques, parce que c'est pas des symptômes, c'est pas une maladie pour donner des médicaments, c'est pas une maladie pour y avoir des médicaments, c'est pas une maladie, tu sais. C'est juste cette condition de neurodivergence que je vis avec. Comme je vis avec mes cicatrices, j'en ai plein de cicatrices sur le corps, comme je vis en crise financière, le stress financier, ayant perdu de l'emploi, puis moi j'aime ça travailler, tu sais, mais des fois c'est la malcompréhension des choses de social, puis là, tu sais, on a de la misère, les gens ils ont de la misère, beaucoup des neurotypiques, de comprendre, de savoir, c'est l'autisme hautement fonctionnel, c'est l'Asperger's, puis c'est cette condition que ça nous rend étrange. Ça nous rend étrange, ça nous rend un peu bizarre, ça peut faire les gens inconfortables, mais il faut juste nous le dire, comme moi-même, il faut juste me le dire, puis salut, bonjour, that's it, that's all, rock'n'roll. Si je suis quelqu'un qui... J'aime pas la violence, j'aime pas la violence, je suis intense. Les Asperger's, on peut être quand même intense. On peut être intense, concentré, super dedans, surtout quand je fais l'entraînement physique, puis mes marches d'entraînement physique, je peux être tellement dedans, puis concentré dans ces choses-là. Mais c'est juste parce qu'on n'est pas méchant, c'est pas parce qu'on est violent ou des choses comme ça, la violence. Mais moi, je n'aime pas la violence, puis c'est juste pour la défense, mes initiatives, mes protocoles que je vais en discuter, c'est pour la défense, bien sûr, que je fais appel pour faire l'implémentation de ma trinité de théorie dans ce point de convergence, de contexte, bien sûr, que ça soit dans ce domaine ici, tu sais. Puis, tu sais, c'est avec la gratitude que je vis, avec la gratitude, c'est super important pour la santé mentale, puis je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique. Fait que cette condition de neurodivergence, ça fait que, des fois, on peut paraître comme offensé, on peut offenser les gens, on peut être direct, mais c'est pas parce qu'on veut offenser de cette manière-là, c'est juste que on fait de cette manière-là pour être dans ce domaine, bien sûr, de la convergence, qu'on fasse de la convergence pour en faire, pour vivre ensemble, pour vivre que je vis avec. Puis, encore une fois, il n'y a pas de médicaments. Pour l'Asperger, c'est juste cette condition de neurodivergence. Oh, ça sent le cannabis. Moi, je fume rarement, mais c'est légal, hein, c'est légal au Canada. Fait que je vais juste faire attention ici, parlez-moi un peu parce qu'il y a de la glace tant que je traverse. On a traversé en sécurité. Fait que là, c'est le temps que je vous discute, vous parle de la théorie de la refusion de la dette. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est ma théorie financière que je fais après pour l'implémentation. Puis encore une fois, vu qu'on a payé l'année passée 46,5 milliards d'intérêts, ça c'est le montant d'intérêts seulement qu'on a payé sur la dette publique. 46,5 milliards l'année passée sur la dette publique. 1 milliard, c'est en 9 zéros, fait que c'était 46 000 millions. Imaginez-vous, là, c'était tellement beaucoup qu'on a payé d'intérêts. Puis en 2020-2021, l'année fiscale, c'était 20,3. De 20,3 à 46,5, si vous remarquez les mathématiques, c'est plus que le double. 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 20,3 double, ça aurait été 40,6. 20,3 double, ça aurait été 40,6. C'est 46,5 l'année passée. 46,5, vous imaginez-vous? Imaginez-vous en tant qu'individu, citoyen, citoyenne, si l'intérêt double que vous devrez payer sur les cartes de crédit, moi j'en ai pas de carte de crédit, mais si l'intérêt double, sans que le salaire double, combien de salaires vous connaissez qui ont doublé, ça veut dire qu'il faut qu'on coupe dans le budget, il faut couper les dépenses. On n'a pas le choix de couper dans les dépenses, on n'a pas le choix de couper dans le budget, on n'a pas le choix de couper dans le budget, on n'a pas le choix de couper dans le budget. On n'a pas le choix, il n'y a pas le choix de couper dans le budget. Fait on doit réduire, faire la réduction. Tu sais, faire la réduction, bien sûr. Faire la réduction de ces choses-là. Fait qu'en faisant cette réduction, bien sûr, il faut qu'on réduit, bien sûr, le budget puis les dépenses. Fait que, bien sûr, pour la réduction, il faut bien sûr qu'on fasse, il va falloir faire, hein, l'implémentation de ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, on n'a pas le choix. Puis je dis que c'est la seule et unique solution dû au fait que l'intérêt seulement sur la dette publique a doublé. Là. Le montant qu'on paye sur l'intérêt, c'est plus que double. De 20,3 à 40,6. Je veux chanter une petite chanson pour l'Hydro-Québec. Merci à l'Hydro-Québec. C'est à cause de l'Hydro-Québec qu'on a l'électricité, les travailleurs du passé, du présent. Fait que je dois dire un peu de remerciement pour leur donner un peu d'amour, puis de chanter, puis de la danse pour les autres sur la route. Avec bien sûr, toujours quand je vois le camion, j'ai des flashs, puis j'aimerais ça tellement y aller à Bay James, voir le monstre. Ben, c'est pas un monstre, là, parce que ça nous fait du bien. Là. C'est un monstre positif, dans le fond, mais je veux dire, les centrales de l'Hydro-Québec. Le complexe de Bay James, c'est un des plus gros au monde. Là. Un des plus gros au monde. Hein. Sinon, c'est-tu le plus gros au monde? Le numéro 1, je sais que c'est dans le top, là, mais dans le top 5 peut-être, mais peut-être deuxième, troisième aussi. Oh, il va falloir que je vérifie. C'est peut-être le premier, le plus grand complexe d'hydroélectricité au monde. Ou peut-être, je pense que la Chine, ils ont fait un nouveau que ça a dépassé Bay James. Mais je pense, vous voyez, j'ai un doute. Il faudrait que je fasse des vérifications. C'est tellement de choses que moi-même, je ne sais pas. Je sais ma géopolitique. Je sais un peu sur l'électricité. Hein? Mais, bon. La TRD. Je sais que la théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est la seule et unique solution, ou quelque chose qui ressemble à TRD encore une fois, dû au fait du montant d'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique. Le montant d'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique. Parce que c'est rendu que c'est énorme. C'est rendu tellement gros. Ça a plus que doublé, c'est sûr qu'à cause de la COVID. À cause de la COVID, on a dû faire l'implémentation de plusieurs programme pour soutenir la population. Fait qu'en grosse partie, c'est dû à cause de la COVID que moi-même j'ai survécu entre le 7 février 2020 et le 24 mars 2020. Fait que je célèbre 5 ans depuis que j'ai eu la COVID puis j'ai survécu. Je dis souvent, je suis mort de la COVID, je suis en train de naître. Mais bon, imaginez-vous en tant qu'un individu, mettons, moi j'ai pas de carte de crédit, j'ai 10 000 $ de dette à la Banque royale du Canada sur la ligne de crédit. Mais imaginez cet individu que l'intérêt qu'il paye, ça saute de 156 à 333. Si ça saute de 156 à 333, si ça saute de 156 à 333, ça c'est plus que le double parce que 156 double, c'est 312. Fait que 333, c'est plus que le double. OK? Fait qu'un individu, si le salaire ne double pas, ça veut dire, bien sûr, si le salaire qui ne double pas, ça veut dire, bien sûr, que le salaire, si le salaire ne donne pas, bien sûr, ça veut dire qu'il faut qu'il coupe dans le budget. Ça veut dire qu'il faut qu'il coupe dans le budget. Ça veut dire qu'il faut qu'il coupe, il faut faire une réduction dans le budget. Il faut couper. Qu'est-ce qu'on va couper? Les cigarettes, si vous êtes fumeur, si vous fumez la cigarette, citoyen, citoyenne. Si vous faites n'importe quelle autre chose, bien sûr, n'importe quelle autre chose, si vous faites, ben, ça veut dire qu'il faut que vous coupez dans le budget. Il faut que vous fassiez une réduction, là. Si, ben, imaginez-vous, l'intérêt, ça double. L'intérêt que vous payez, ça double, là. C'est ça le problème. Vous ne pouvez pas dépenser la même chose parce que vous allez faire faillite. Le citoyenne va faire faillite. Parce que le montant d'intérêt qu'il faut payer, ça augmente toujours si vous ratez un paiement. Fait qu'on est rendu à ce point-là ici, paradoxe. Ben, c'est la théorie de la refusion de la dette, c'est la solution. Il n'y a pas d'autre solution en ce moment. Quelque chose qui ressemble à ma TRD, qui ressemble fortement à la TRD. On est rendu aujourd'hui, là. Il y a une autre crise de la bourse, pas d'argent de la bourse, mais c'est encore bien dans le rouge. C'est possible qu'il y ait un effondrement dès demain des finances publiques du Canada, là. Parce que c'est rendu qu'on a l'intérêt, le montant de l'intérêt seulement, encore une fois, ça a plus que doublé en seulement 3 ans. L'économie canadienne n'a pas doublé, loin de là. Et qu'est-ce qu'ils vont faire? Qu'est-ce qu'on va réduire? On va couper quoi dans le public? On va couper, bien sûr, qu'est-ce qu'on va couper dans le public? Dans les finances publiques, qu'est-ce qu'on va couper? On va-tu couper? On va couper peut-être la police, la GRC. La prison, les services de correction, la santé publique. C'est ça le problème. Vous voyez, on ne peut pas soutenir le même niveau parce qu'on a payé trop d'intérêts. L'économie n'a pas doublé. Ça prend des générations pour qu'on double l'économie canadienne. Des fois, c'est allé dans le négatif aussi. Ça a augmenté d'1%, 2%. Là. C'est l'intérêt qu'on a payé, ça a doublé. Fait il n'y a pas de solution, là. C'est la TRD. Puis c'est ça on s'en va. On est proche d'une catastrophe financière publique. Peut-être ça commence dès demain. Aujourd'hui, ça a commencé avec les tarifs, tout ça. Puis les États-Unis, mais sont dans quand même, une situation similaire. Pas juste dans le public, mais dans le privé aussi. On a un record de dette. On paie un record de dette. On paie un record d'intérêt. On ne peut pas soutenir ça. Les gens, ils vont devenir la majorité. On va devenir de moins en moins riches. On va plus payer le loyer, là. Toutes ces choses-là, vous imaginez-vous? Moi, j'ai payé mon loyer pour le mois de mars. Payé mon loyer, payé ma facture d'électricité. On s'en va vers une catastrophe financière, de dette, de surendettement. On est rendu pour un paradoxe, mais la solution, c'est la théorie de la refusion de la dette de votre dragon arc-en-ciel. Puis là, je vous l'explique, là, simplement possible. Puis c'est un paradoxe parce que j'ai souffert, j'étais en dépression suicidaire, mais j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte en 2017. Cet événement, ça m'a fait établir un esprit de corps solide avec le Canada, le Québec, les Canadiens, Québécois et Québécoises. Ben, vous êtes ma famille, je vous considère comme une famille, les Canadiens aussi, ben, les Nord-Américains aussi. Je vous défendrai de côte à côte, mais juste pour la défense d'Atit d'Atzor. 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 Tu sais, je suis quelqu'un qui n'aime pas la violence, mais l'agression, mais l'entraînement physique, puis l'intensité, c'est le sport puis l'entraînement physique. En tout cas. Mais la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Fait je vous l'explique, la TRD, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire, qui c'est la théorie financière que les Européens ont fait l'implémentation en Europe dans les années 80, en Italie, en France, en Allemagne. Ils ont détruit leur banque centrale, hein? Les Allemands, ils n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale, les Italiens aussi, les Français aussi. Fait qu'il faut faut faire pareil, puis la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, il faut faire l'implémentation, le Canada puis les États-Unis ensemble. 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 Le Canada puis les États-Unis ensemble parce qu'on est quand même dans la même situation. Fait que ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire, qui est la théorie que c'est les Européens Ils ont fait de l'implémentation ensemble. Et la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, pour faire affaire, bien sûr, ensemble. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Théorie de la refusion de la dette. Fait qu'il faut qu'on fasse, on va prendre, encore une fois, ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, ça contient en dedans d'elle la théorie d'intégration monétaire, ce qui est la théorie financière que les Européens ont faite par la création, des années 90, d'une banque centrale commune, la Banque centrale de l'Europe. Puis, en mettant en circulation une nouvelle monnaie, l'euro, ils n'ont plus de monnaie Deutschmark en Allemagne, français, le franc, la lira, tout ça. Il y a une unité d'échange commune, puis ils n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale. Ils n'ont plus, en Allemagne, ils n'ont plus de banque centrale nationale, une banque centrale multinationale. Au Canada, on a quand même encore la Banque du Canada. Aux États-Unis, la Banque fédérale, le Federal Reserve System, le système de réserve fédérale qui fonctionne comme une banque centrale. C'est juste que le titre Federal Reserve System, vous voyez, oui, c'est une banque centrale, ça fonctionne pas avec les mêmes principes, mais il y a une différence parce que les États aussi, qu'avec les États, c'est un système de réserve fédérale, mais ça fonctionne comme une banque centrale établie en 1913, je pense, 1913, puis bien sûr en 1913, et bien sûr qui ont fait en 1913, puis là, ils ont fait de 1913, ils ont fait le système aussi de la Banque du Canada en 1931. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette. Je vous l'explique la TRD maintenant. On va prendre toute la dette publique, ainsi que privée ensemble, mon 10 000 $ en tant que citoyen, toute la dette de tous les citoyens et citoyennes du Canada, du Québec. Toute cette dette-là, publique-privée, on va faire la conversion dans la devise des États-Unis. Il faut faire l'implémentation de ma TRD, de préférence Canada premièrement, mais simultanément, en même temps, avec les États-Unis. C'est ça que ça prend, un partenariat public-privé. Fait que, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, 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 mon 10 000, ton 10 000, on va faire la conversion dans la devise des États-Unis. Toute cette dette-là, on va faire la conversion dans la dette des États-Unis, avec la dette publique-privée des États-Unis. On va convertir notre dette privée ainsi que publique canadienne puis du Québec dans la devise des États-Unis, dans le US dollar, dans le dollar américain. On va mettre tout ça ensemble. S'il y a d'autres pays qui veulent se rajouter, ben, le Mexique, l'Haïti, le Cuba, blablabla. Mais premièrement, collectif nord-américain. Ça peut s'étendre, blablabla, là, mais moi, je suis un philosophe québécois, canadien, nord-américain, mais c'est ici que je vis ma vie, c'est chez nous, puis je leur souhaite de la paix dans le monde, je peux être citoyen du monde, mais mes initiatives, protocoles, la trinité de théorie qui inclut la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette que je suis en train de vous expliquer, avec la théorie d'intégration citoyenne, théorie IC, TIC, théorie d'intégration citoyenne, puis la théorie de la fusion démocratique. La TRD, on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, Canada et États-Unis ensemble. On va convertir la dette publique-privée du Canada dans la devise des États-Unis. Tout ça, on va additionner ensemble. Ça va être un gros montant. Cet argent, ça va être l'argent initial pour la création d'une nouvelle banque centrale de l'Amérique du Nord, du collectif nord-américain, comment qu'on l'appelle, la nouvelle banque centrale de l'Amérique du Nord, ou comment qu'on l'appelle, c'est pas vraiment, c'est le principe plus qui compte, que le nom, c'est plus superficiel. Puis on va faire la création d'une nouvelle monnaie d'échange, un nouveau argent, un nouveau échange de circulation, qu'on va appeler U point unité, un point échange, U point universel. U point unité, un point échange, U point universel. L'unité d'échange universelle. Unité d'échange universelle. U point unité, un point échange, U point universel. U point unité, un point échange, U point universel. U point unité, un point échange, U point universel. L'unité d'échange universelle va avoir la valeur du dollar des États-Unis, la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. Fait qu'ayant la valeur du dollar des États-Unis, On va mettre un taux d'intérêt de 10%. Ça peut être moins 3,33, 7,18, 4,18, 3,33, 1,56, 9,3, en bas de 10 par principe. Avec cet argent-là, on va rebâtir l'infrastructure du collectif nord-américain. On va bâtir plus de centrales de l'Hydro-Québec. On va bâtir les 44 tunnels, les 44 tunnels, inspirés par la montagne Cheyenne puis par le village souterrain de Montréal, dans le cas d'une guerre thermonucléaire et pour la continuité du collectif de la civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord. On va bâtir les 44 tunnels. On va construire les 44 tunnels. On va construire ces 44 tunnels. Le chiffre après 43 avant 45, c'est 44 tunnels à travers le collectif de l'Amérique du Nord. Et on va faire, bien sûr, l'implémentation de ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, pour la création de l'unité d'échange universelle. L'unité d'échange universelle. Fait que la création de l'unité d'échange universelle va avoir, bien sûr, la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. Fait qu'on va mettre un taux d'intérêt de 10%. Ça peut être moins, pas plus. Ça peut être 3,33, 1,56, 9,3, 6,1, 9, 4,18, 7,18. En bas de 10 par principe. Ce principe financier ne pourra pas. Ça va être un règlement, ça va être une loi financière, une nouvelle loi financière du collectif. On ne va pas pouvoir avoir plus que 10% d'intérêt après ça. Fait que maximum 10%. Mais il faut faire l'implémentation de la TRD. On n'a pas le choix. Il n'y a pas le oui et non. On est rendu, là. C'est un effondrement financier, public ainsi que privé, tu sais. Moi-même, je dois dire ma gratitude. J'ai payé mon loyer. J'ai payé ma facture d'électricité. J'ai du café, j'ai du thé, mais j'ai 5 $ d'impoche pour me gâter après avoir marché plus que 4 heures aujourd'hui, faire ce travail en tant que travailleur indépendant, analyste et théoricien en géopolitique, philosophe, artiste, athlète et mystique, croire à les réincarnations. Moi, j'ai été né homme-femme, des fois homme, des fois femme, des fois homme, des fois femme. Québécoise, j'ai rencontré Louis Cyr. Un moment donné, j'étais québécoise, femme. Ben, c'était pas vraiment québécoise dans ce temps-là, c'était au début, là, c'était quand même québécoise, mais c'était comme au début, tu sais, de la colonisation à 1744, là, fait que dans ces années-là, je servais les coureurs de bois et tout ça, c'était pas vraiment le Québec d'aujourd'hui, tu sais, parce que le Québécois d'aujourd'hui qu'on est, on n'est pas exactement les mêmes Québécois que du 19e siècle, ni du 20e siècle, tu sais, parce qu'on la révolution tranquille, puis les référendums, tout ça, tu sais, c'est quand même des choses de l'histoire, mais vous êtes ma famille, Québécois, Québécoise, Canadien, puis on va faire une fusion du Nord et du Sud, du Nord du Canada puis des États-Unis pendant un partenariat public-privé. C'est mieux si on va faire un grand recensement. On va faire un grand recensement du collectif nord-américain. On va faire la création d'un passeport commun, Canada-États-Unis, passeport commun, puis on va diriger nos forces de sécurité pour les ports et les aéroports. C'est mieux que sur la frontière. C'est pas vraiment valide pour la frontière. C'est les ports et les aéroports que le fentanyl les rend. C'est les ports et les aéroports. Fait que de côte à côte, en d'autres mots, c'est de côte à côte. Les ports et les aéroports, de côte à côte. Fait que c'est mieux si on se concentre les ports, l'océan Pacifique, l'océan Atlantique, soit les ports, où il y a les navires, pas les ports, les cochons, là, mais les ports, les navires. Je dois avoir le prix du bacon. Les ports et les aéroports. Et bien sûr, les ports et les aéroports. C'est mieux si on se concentre. On va faire un recensement, voir tous les citoyens qui habitent ici au Québec et au Canada et aux États-Unis depuis plus que 5 ans, depuis, on va dire, février 2020 ou plus que 7 ans. 5 ans minimum, on va faire ce recensement, un petit va-et-vient linguistique, un recensement, ça va durer un couple de semaines, puis on va faire la création de ce passeport commun passeport commun, et cette unité d'échange, l'unité d'échange universelle. Par l'implémentation de ma TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, on va bâtir les 44 tunnels, on va encourager les gens à l'entraînement physique, on va financer l'entraînement physique, financer les gens à faire l'entraînement physique. J'ai créé mon propre système d'entraînement physique qui ne requiert aucun équipement, puis il faut qu'on fasse ensemble. On va financer les gens au tourisme, parce que moi, quand j'ai traversé le Canada en 2017, de côte à côte, quand j'ai traversé le Canada en 2017, de côte à côte, c'est là que j'ai sorti de ma dépression. J'étais en dépression puis suicidaire. Puis cet événement, ça m'a fait sortir de la dépression. Fait que je vais juste voir un peu de... dans le principe, bien sûr, de voir que un petit peu du journal, lire un peu, mais sais-tu, ok, c'est nouveau, c'est le 11 mars, donc c'est un petit journal qu'on a ici. Donc c'est ça, that's all avec ça, mais on n'a pas le choix de faire l'implémentation de la théorie de la refusion de la dette, encore une fois, comme je vous l'ai mentionné auparavant. Fait que c'est ces choses-là qu'il faut qu'on fasse. On n'a pas le choix, encore une fois, de faire l'implémentation de la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, pour en faire, bien sûr, dans ce compromis il va falloir qu'on continue à en faire, le grand compromis du français. Puis ça prend un effort, en tant que Québécois, ça prend un effort continu, parce qu'il y a aussi une manière de le faire. Si on veut encourager les gens français, il faut faire un effort individuel en tant que citoyenne, moi aussi, monsieur, madame, tu sais. Mais je suis centriste. Mon centrisme est pro-révolutionnaire universel. Mon centrisme universel révolutionnaire est nord-américain centrique. Qu'est-ce que j'appelle, en tant que philosophe, le grand collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord, ou le complexe de civilisation nord-américain, le complexe nord-américain. Mais nous, dans le fond, on est au nord. Nos frères et sœurs aux États-Unis sont au sud. Fait qu'on va faire une fusion du nord et du sud. On va faire une fusion du nord et du sud. On fait la création d'un nouveau passeport. On va faire les standards économiques, financiers puis de défense, puis une intégration, parce que c'est le 911, c'est Canada et États-Unis. Fait qu'on va bouger ça vers le service, pour la sécurité, puis le service, puis la défense. Défense seulement, défense, sécurité, puis service, puis renaissance. Défense, sécurité, puis service, puis renaissance. Défense, sécurité, puis service, puis renaissance. Puis bien sûr, on va faire la fondation de ces deux institutions de partenariat public-privé basées sur mes philosophies, la plupart de mes philosophies, qu'on va appeler l'armée du dragon. L'armée du dragon. C'est vraiment, un appel pour aussi, bien sûr, pour le collectif nord-américain de sécurité et de défense du collectif nord-américain, institution, la force de défense et de sécurité et de service du collectif de défense de l'Amérique du Nord. C'est aussi nommé comme l'armée du dragon ou l'armée de la déesse qui danse. La Ligue de danse intégrée de l'Amérique du Nord, la Ligue de danse intégrée de l'Amérique du Nord, la Ligue de danse intégrée de l'Amérique du Nord, la Ligue de danse intégrée de l'Amérique du Nord, la Ligue de danse intégrée de l'Amérique du Nord, la Ligue de danse intégrée de l'Amérique du Nord, soit l'armée de la déesse qui danse. Puis je veux bâtir avec l'aide des travailleurs en construction sur la frontière du Canada et des États-Unis, parce que ça fait depuis 2018 que je fais appel à Donald Trump de me combattre dans un combat de boxe. Depuis 2018, quand il a imposé les tarifs sur l'aluminium puis l'acier en 2018, sur l'aluminium puis l'acier en 2018, c'est là vraiment que je suis rentré dans la politique d'un peu. Fait que bien sûr, je veux qu'on construise un colisée nord-américain pour le sport perpetus sportus perpetuus, 24 sur 24, 7 sur 7, pour avoir du sport des Canadiens, du Canada et des États-Unis. On bâtit ce colisée pour le sport 24 sur 24 sur la frontière canado-états-unienne. Du Canada et des États-Unis, 11 fois plus grand que n'importe quelle aréna de la Ligue de football. 11 fois plus grand que n'importe quelle aréna de la Ligue de football. 11 fois plus grand que n'importe quelle aréna de football américain. 11 fois plus grand que n'importe quelle aréna de l'Amérique du Nord. 11 fois, le chiffre après 10 avant 12, c'est 11 sur la frontière Canada. Un méga complexe sportif, un colisée impérial. Un colisée impérial sur la frontière du Canada puis des États-Unis sur la frontière du Canada puis des États-Unis, sur la frontière du Canada puis des États-Unis. Puis on va bâtir ce Colisée, puis on va bâtir vis-à-vis le temple de la déesse oubliée, le temple de la déesse oubliée, le temple de la déesse, parce que je crédite avoir survécu la COVID à la déesse. Je suis mystique, j'ai pas toutes les réponses spirituelles, je suis un mystique, je crois à la réincarnation, le soleil, la lune, les étoiles, puis ma spiritualité est pas mal rock'n'roll, hein. Ma spiritualité, ben, ma spiritualité quand même, c'est pas mal du rock'n'roll que ma spiritualité est là, puis la danse, c'est mon sport préféré, puis l'entraînement physique que je préfère. Fait on va bâtir la frontière des États-Unis puis du Canada, on va enlever la frontière, on va la Colisée de l'Amérique du Nord, impériale, puis l'armée de la déesse qui danse, puis on va bâtir le palais du peuple impérial, le Colisée, puis la pyramide écarlate, rouge, ben, c'est rouge, l'écarlate, c'est rouge, l'écarlate, c'est rouge, l'écarlate, c'est rouge, l'écarlate est rouge, écarlate, c'est rouge. Ma couleur préférée, la pyramide, la maison du dragon, austère, sévère, mais avec du rouge écarlate, on va mettre un peu de l'arc-en-ciel dedans, s'il vous plaît, l'arc-en-ciel dedans, dans le noir puis le blanc, l'arc-en-ciel, on en a besoin. Puis bien sûr, on va bâtir cette pyramide de la maison du dragon. Puis le 4e bâtiment, avec ces trois-là, c'est le palais du peuple. Arc-en-ciel pour ma communauté LGBTQ en étant androgyne pansexuel, en étant androgyne pansexuel moi-même, en étant androgyne pansexuel, tu sais. Je fais partie, bien sûr, tu sais, en étant androgyne pansexuel, je fais partie, bien sûr, de la communauté LGBTQ. Et c'est ça, that's all, là, pour la renaissance du collectif de civilisation de l'Amérique du Nord, pour qu'on fasse, bien sûr. Hop, on peut monter les escaliers 300 fois avec des chansons. Puis vous voyez, on est sur la montagne, so French and English rock and roll. See, now we're kind of a midway of the mountain, and sometimes we pass by there, and we point the fingers towards here, and sometimes we're there, so we're here, we're there, and that's how we gotta get going with that. And sometimes we're there at the midpoint, at the midsection, and now we're kind of at the midway of the mountain of my West Mountain. We're gonna get that good rock and rolling now, bilingual rock and roll as I go, and I wish I could get my anonymous friend a house here. Call this for the house here, we can split 50-50. Call for the house here, we can split 50-50. Call for the house here, we can split 50-50. This street is called the Boulevard, and you can check in on the Boulevard, and property registers are open market, and let's see, 3733 sounds big, I guess, bigger. We can split 50-50. You can check 3744 if there's that, or 3740 or 3744, 3740 or 3744, 3740 or 3744, and financially stressed, but got plenty of good loving, good rock and roll, and gonna sing some of that bilingual rock and roll because the full moon coming ready. I'm gonna spit it a little bit of that freestyle rock and roll now. It's a rock and roll marching dance event celebrating 5 years since survived COVID. Ready for that rock and roll on the Boulevard, Montreal, Hawk Island. Bilingual rock and roll, French and English. It's a rock and roll bilingue sur le Boulevard à Montréal, Westmount. Let's go in 3, 2, 1. Now the Rainbow Dragon rock and roll with the cars up in the road. The shadow you can see. I'm wearing red shoes. Gotta give and gotta kiss what you gotta lose. For the butchers and the bakers and the nurses and the doctors, firefighters. Why they so selfish on the Wall Street? I gotta be, everybody gotta eat. The truckers and the bakers and the butchers and the nurses. Those in the daycare changing diapers. Gotta get that selfish poison. Gotta get that selfish poison. So you know we gotta poison. So you know we gotta get it on. Kisses gotta get a frown. Kisses gotta get a louder. Loud and kisses for the me. Loud and kisses for the dudes. And you know we gotta look up at the moon. At the moon, you know we look. At the moon, you know we shook. For the verb, you know we got it. For the verb, you know we love it. Love it for the firefighters, butchers, and the nurses, doctors and the cooks, helicopters in the sky, bricks, bricks, bricks. You know I lay up in the love, up the stairs, up in lust. Love and lust, and that's what's up. I don't need a guitar. You sing it, I got plenty of scars. For yo, I gotta go in the red shoes, freestyling as you know, up in the loser. Loser, you know that's the butch and the sing up in the melody, butch and the sing up in the harmony, butch and the sing up in the love sea, butch and the sing up in the love sea, butch and the sing up in the soft sea, butch and the sing up in the love bee, butch and the sing up in the love thee, butch and the sing up in the love sea, butch and the sing up in the love sea, for you know the harmony, and you know we up and down, hey, you know that's the moon, that's the sound, 93 gang C, kiss, and the harmony. So you know we gotta press on the love and on the bet. So you know we gotta press on the love and gotta bet. So you know we gotta bet on the love and on the bet. So you know we gotta bet on the love and on the best. So you know we gotta bless on the love and on the kiss. On the love and on the best. Gotta press on that freezer. Gotta press on that lips. So you know we smoking freezer. So you know we smoking pleaser. So you know we smoking leave. I don't smoke, I just stoke, once in a while, and although I'm broke, I got some kisses, got some hugs, I got some rock and roll the doves, for the crows and for the hawks. You know freestyle, that's an art, you know freestyle, that's an art, see? We're at top of the mountain, not at the top, but the summit of the top goes up, but see there it goes down. Vous voyez comment ça va en bas. Fait ici, on est sur la montagne, puis des fois, je passe là-bas, puis je prends ici en français maintenant du rock'n'roll. Du rock'n'roll de la lune, ben regarde, ben ça danse, ça avance, ben c'est pleine, ça descend, ben ça laine. Ça sent la lune, ça sent la plaine, ça sent la gêne. Jeunesse d'1 million d'arc-en-ciel, des bisous puis des chatouilles. Ça danse avec la bouche, ça ouvre. Les ouvriers, les communards, les bouchers des boulangeries, ça peint les infirmières, les bouchers puis les pompiers, ben ça fasse sans guitare. Et ça danse sans guitare, ben des cicatrices, ça fasse. Ben retard, ben en retard, ben retard, ben regarde. Que ça fasse de la guitare, que ça fasse sans regarde. Ben la lune, ben c'est pleine, ben la lune, ben c'est laine, Que ça danse, ben colline, que ça danse, ben flanche. Ben regarde, ben ça pitonne, c'est pitou, ben ça pitonne, c'est pitou, ben ça pitonne. Ben encore, ben ça donne, ben encore, ben ça donne. Ça donne dans un cercle, ça avance, ouh, il y a un nid de poule, là. Faut que ça ralentit quand c'est 45. Let's go. You got some potholes, you gotta go with the potholes. Gotta slow down with a car driving. Driving truckers on the road, highways as I go. Highways left and right, I'm purple as I light. Light on sight and light, light on sight and right. For you know, that's a right. For you know, and that's a right. That's a right and not a sight. That's a right and not a sight. So you know we up in hands. So you know we up and dance. So you know we up in the dance, and we go up in the trance, and we go up in the lancer. Going down, you gotta see. Going down, you gotta be. Going down, you gotta see. Going down, you gotta be. Going down in harmony. On the mountain, that's just me. Sur la montagne que je suis, la West Mountain, that oui. Et la lune devient plus en plus pleine. Bientôt la lune pleine. Des loups s'avancent de la belle province, les forêts. Des forêts pis des plaines, jusqu'aux îles de la Madeleine, dans cette région, ça danse. Ben ça touille, qui mange des images, du fromage, ben ça ronge ça longe. Hey, attendent que bientôt, ben pour y aller à la plage, on est en mars, hey, attention, pas, science, le printemps, ça vient. Attention, ben patience, le printemps, ben s'en vient. Je vous donne le bénéfice du doute, que vous amour puis ça danser. Je vous donne le bénéfice du doute, que vous savez comment danser. Je vous donne le bénéfice du doute. Vous savez le rock'n'roll, puis vous savez comment danser. That was a good one, a good French. I give you the benefit of the doubt that you love that rock and roll sound and that you know how to dance without a crown, without a frown. I give you that benefit of the doubt. That's the translation of what I freestyle. I give you the benefit of the doubt that you know how to freestyle, that you know how to dance, that you love that rock and roll. The sound of that rock and roll. I give you the benefit of the doubt that you know that rock and roll. That you know that moon is full. That you know the wolves howling at the moon. Kisses at the screams. So the God has got his guarded. So the God has go retarded. What about it? Kiss and hug it. Flinch on the hips. Flinch on those lips. Rainbow dismissed to General Please. Gotta see that. In the sky, the satellites. In the sky, the stars be counting. In the stars be counting. In the stars be counting. Gotta see it to believe it. Gotta see it to believe it. I bury me with Papa Crowley up in New Jersey. Turn me up in the big city. All the pyramids are turning me up in Mount Royal. So what you gotta do is royal. So what you gotta do is royal. So what you gotta do is royal. What you gotta do is royal. All you gotta do is royal. For the fumble, that's your gamble. Gamble with a hey. And you go up and down with frown. So you know that's the crown. So you know that up and down. So you know that's up and sound. So you know that's up and sound. So you know we up and down. So you know we up and down. 40X on right and Z. 40X on right and Z. So you know, I got the lead mountain. That's what I said. And another record said, and another record played. See how it goes down. So here we're kind of a midway, eh? Kind of up. We're gonna go to Mount Royal, and that's Mount Royal side, and that's about it. That's all with that, just freestyle rock and roll, freestyle. And I'm getting on that thirsty now, getting on that thirsty. Je commence à avoir soif un peu, soif thirsty, that French and English, and it's all happening with me. It's rock and roll, sports, fitness, dancing, and 24/7 geopolitics, c'est ça qui se passe avec moi 24/24, la marche, l'entraînement physique, la géopolitique, le rock and roll, c'est ma trinité. Je fais ça avec une routine, une intensité, puis c'est ça mon travail vraiment en tant qu'artiste, athlète, philosophe et analyste théoricien en géopolitique et mystique. That's really my work as an artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical, theoretical analyst and theorist, and mystic. So that's all we gotta do is I go to my second home, the mountain, and this is like kind of my second home here. Mountain is three-peaked mountain system, Mount Royal, out of the city of Montreal. And ça, c'est comme ma deuxième maison, c'est la montagne du Mont-Royal qui contient ce sommet du mont. Ça a 3 sommets, au centre, exactement entre l'est et l'ouest de la ville. C'est bien sûr le Mont-Royal. Fait que c'est ça qui est ça avec, et c'est ça qui est ça avec ça. Donc c'est des choses bien sûr qu'il faut que je fasse moi-même dans cet entraînement physique pour en faire ici, pour les protéger, puis avec le rock and roll, so that's what we gotta get doing, so we gotta get on that love site, we gotta get on that love bird, we gotta get on that LOV, it's not all about money, pas justement de l'argent, ça prend l'amour, so hopefully somebody making some good love now, virtual love, l'amour virtuel, or live flesh to flesh, that's what it is, le chair par chair, and that's what we gotta get doing with that, and that's what we gotta get on that circumvision with that, and let's get ready for some more rock and roll, Hey, gotta get that rock and the roll, on the road, the mountain, gotta sing it for the moon, gotta kiss it for the soon, gotta kiss it for the do's, and the doors and the thinkers, you gotta give a little bit, for the cheese, and the please, gotta say up in the hearts and gotta say up in the lights, so we're rolling dice. I ain't rolling no dice cause I don't gamble. Je donne pas les dés, les dés car je gâche pas. Je dis le rock'n'roll, les paroles de l'amour. Le dragon arc-en-ciel qui chante et chante, chante sa danse, québécois et québécoises, tous en transe. Les mains dans les airs, sans misère, qui se nous rejoindra, faut le faire, qui se nous rejoindra, faut le faire, pour nous rejoindre, faut le faire. Des aïe, sur la montagne, ben la neige, got that snow, as you go, got that snow, as you go. as I peel upon the snow. Gotta cross on that green, and you know I gotta sing. See that down up the hill, up the mountain. Vous avez comment ça va en bas. Et ça avance pour en dos des pas de danse. La gauche et puis la droite, that's the left and right. You gotta see, you gotta sight. You gotta see, you gotta sight. That's the left and right. You gotta see it for the kisses, gotta see it for the lips. Hey, the construction workers going up on those cranes, got a fetish on the plane. Steel toes on the dance up in the low. Let's go. Harmony and shake, those hips up in the baker. Puis l'harmonie, bébé, ça danse. Pour danser avec Québécois et Québécoises. Puis la danse, ça recule. Regarde, avec belle lune. You know we got a sweet. You know we got a sweet. Gotta get it for you eat. Gotta get it for you bake. Gotta get it for you shake. So you know we gotta shake it. I don't gotta fake it till I make it. I survived COVID. I got plenty of scars that survived. Got plenty of scars that survived. I don't gotta make it, fake it till I make it. Cause when I'm on the mountain, I already made it. And if you gotta cook it, bake it. And if you gotta cook the bacon. And if you got it all in North America. True north, strong and free. Gotta pledge your allegiance. I ain't no demon, I just love that rock and roll, you see. I ain't no demon, I'm a dragon. So what if I like that homo? I'm not a demon, I'm a dragon. Rainbow, that's what's up. I got a veg.11 folder, hope you take notice. So you know I never screamed this. Left and right are marvelous. For another left and right, for another left and sight. So you know I've been the ether, so you know I've been the lead. Another flavor, that's a lip. Another flavor, that's a kiss. So you know how to live up into this. Been dismissed. For the flavor, that's a hiss. For the flavor, that's a bliss. For the flavor, that's a lip. Lip on the lips, on the kiss and hiss. So you know you got a trip. So avec eux, on a de la danse. Là, les pas les fourmis, que ça gratte. Les gratte-ciel s'égrue, ça avance et ça monte. Travailleurs en construction de la belle province, ça monte le ton. Et ça danse, ben ça avance. Les orteils, ben regarde, les orteils, ben ça danse. Les orteils, ben ensemble, les orteils, c'est les pouces. C'est les pouces. C'est pouce, ça pousse. Woo! Rock and roll, 24. I can go in trances, I could just keep going with that freestyle rock and roll, I can go hours, des heures. Chanson rock and roll. I'm an artist, je suis artiste. Aspie artist. Pour retrouver l'amnésie, plein de scars avec artiste Asperger's, avec l'amnésie rétrograde, beaucoup de cicatrices, beaucoup de choses, you know. Survived COVID, wow, 5 years ago. Predicted what's happening now. J'ai prédit qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant. And make love tonight with consent. Hug like you never hugged before is the main message. With consent, hug like you never hugged before is the main message. With consent, hug like you never hugged before is the main message. With consent, hug like you never hugged before is the main message. Avec consentement, donnez-vous un câlin comme jamais auparavant vous l'avez fait. C'est mon message principal. Puis ah ouais, Céline, achète une maison à D. Ramsey pour mon ami anonyme. Let's go, Beyoncé, Oprah. Buy a house on D. Ramsey for my anonymous friend. Who wasn't my friend because of the money, got the 50-50. If I make $1 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion, or build that forgotten goddess temple, the North American People's Imperial Coliseum, je veux bâtir le Colisée du peuple impérial, and gotta get it for that dude, you know, and gotta get it for the Shakers, and that's how we gotta get doing with that, and sometimes we just gotta go on the, you know, on the ride, and gotta get some of that loving for the black and white and rainbow, for les amoureux de noir et blanc, you know, arc-en-ciel, and hey, that's hope there, you know. Somebody give me hope, they holding hands, I can't see well, I gotta check. Tomorrow I got my optometrist, and I think they're kissing, and that's what gives me hope, you know, s'ils se donnent des bisous, mais Ça me donne l'espoir, you know. So that's the best thing I saw today, I guess. It's people holding hands and kissing, you know, that's worth fighting for, you know, carrying a weapon and being that defense weapon for, you know. That's that gives me hope, you know, hope. I'm happy now. They're happy, they're holding hands, make out and loving. That's good, man. Faites de l'amour, pour ça, ça vaut la peine de défendre aussi, you know. Not just money, 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 well, see, but that's important, you know. Gives me hope, man. Gives me hope. So I'm doing this long. I think they were kissing and holding hands, but I have that eyes. My eyes weird, you know. I gotta check my optometrist. Mes yeux sont bizarres, mais gotta give it for that hope, you know. So we gotta get on that rock and roll with that, you know. So it's hopeful, you know. So yeah, man. That's LOV, that's what I like to see, you know. I'm happy now. I'm happy now, you know. So, couple holding hands, je viens de voir un couple qui se garde la main, puis, you know, there's hope for the free world. Somebody holding hands and kiss, quelqu'un qui se donne des bisous, puis se tienne la main. There's still hope for the free world. Freedom gotta be ensured, you know. Very few of us are entitled to fight in the cause of freedom, you know. Myself included, you know. Freedom is new under the sun, Solomon. Freedom is something new under the sun, Mr. Solomon, King Solomon. Freedom is new, you know. And I can say that I'm financially stressed, you know, but I guess I'm free, you know. Je peux dire que quand même, en stress financier, j'ai des cicatrices et tout ça, mais je suis libre quand même, tu sais. Je suis libre, mais ça prend une responsabilité énorme, hein. La liberté, hein. C'est une responsabilité, hein? C'est nouveau, mais c'est une liberté. Il faut définir, you know. You gotta define, you know. Freedom gotta be defined, you know. It's something which we gotta be. It's an ongoing dialogue, eh? In the free world. We got economic, financial, commercial pressures. Quand on a des pressions économiques, financières, commerciales, you know. But I'm free, I guess. I'm free, you know. Freedom is a double-edged sword, you know. It's not easy, you know. La liberté, c'est pas facile, you know. So, and then we got to work. Sometimes it's subconscious on the racism and to my brothers and sisters who are blacks, you know, or who look different than me or whatever. Whatever the case, I open my arms, hugs and kisses and workout, train and push-ups, and I don't have money to give, but hey, pour mes frères et sœurs noirs, tu sais, qui sont noirs ou d'autres qui sont différents de moi-même, mais j'ouvre mes bras pour des câlins, pour leur donner des câlins, puis qu'on fasse l'entraînement ensemble, puis qu'on fasse une famille ici, un collectif, qu'on continue, puis qu'on s'améliore, you know, we get better, and more loving also, you know, we gotta get pleasure also. Le plaisir, c'est important aussi, you know. I'm pro pleasure, freedom, pleasures, health, you know, all those things, le plaisir, puis la santé. Je vais pas monter, I'm not gonna go up today, because it's been a few hours that I'm gonna march, but there's the Belvedere atop, so we're just gonna come by the side of the mountain, and the top of the Belvedere is over there, that side, and not today, and because tomorrow I got an early appointment, so if I go, it's gonna take another hour, plus maybe an hour and a half extra, parce que si je monte jusqu'en haut, ça va prendre encore une heure et demie de plus, fait que je veux pas faire plus que 5 heures aujourd'hui. I don't want to do more than 5 hours today, so I'm just gonna start my descent, see. Je commence à descendre de la montagne, mais usually we go atop the Belvedere Conjurenac. My second home is there, the chalet. Atop this is Mont Royal proper, but now we're going down the mountain, see, or sometimes we're there. Maintenant, on est en train de descendre de la montagne, and sometimes we're over there somewhere, man. It's time for me to descend and look at these beautiful rocks. Tomorrow we're gonna come to the mountain. Tomorrow, not today, you know. Tomorrow, demain, on va venir à la montagne, pas aujourd'hui. And just because I'm calculating to be well rested for tomorrow's got an eyes optometrist. And je veux me reposer bien comme il le faut pour pas être en retard le matin chez l'optométriste. Il faut que j'aille faire ma vision, puis ces choses comme ça. Fait que c'est des choses que je vis avec. I gotta live with that. So now we're going down from Mount Royal, and tu sais, le chalet Belvedere Conjurenac qui est là. So the Belvedere Conjuring Act. So this is my second home here. But you see all here the mountain, well, all the 3 peaks, all this island is my second home. Where the moon is there, I'm gonna go straight towards the moon, south, and then turn back west. On va retourner vers l'ouest. So that's about it. That's all for today, you know. It's a long one. I'm gonna sing some of that good song as the moon's getting full, and I still got about 2 hours, 8 o'clock in from here to my place. D'ici jusqu'à chez nous, c'est quand même encore 2 heures de marche. The 2 heures de marche. The way I'm gonna go is gonna be more than 2 hours. So I'm probably gonna clock in like 5 hours today. Yesterday was like 4 hours and 44 minutes, and today is probably going to be more than 5 hours, and c'était plus que 4h44 minutes hier, fait aujourd'hui ça va être plus que 5 heures, so that's all we gotta get doing with that, and I got out of the way from my fellow citizen there, and so we gotta get doing, and sometimes that's my second home there. I decided not to go all the way atop the Belvedere because I assessed my level of fatigue, and I still got 2 hours and more than 15.6 kilometers to go west. J'ai encore plus que 2 heures puis 15.6 kilomètres pour y aller jusqu'à chez nous. Fait que j'ai décidé bien sûr de finir la vidéo ici. Finish the video here with last rock and roll for the day. Goddess, kiss, Mount Royal, that's a bless. Hiss for the snake in the heart. Got a lion, that's a mane. I get that 50-50. I'm a man and I'm a woman. I'm a man and I'm a woman. Gotta play it. 50-50, that androgyny. I'm a man and I'm a woman. I know 80s rock and roll. 21st century rainbow dragon, that's what's up. Gotta kisses, licks. Priestess of the goddess, 93 hit. That you know we sing it, lick it. Hey, vous savez, hein? Le dragon arc-en-ciel, messieurs et madame. La rivière, le feu, la rivière. 50-50, pas de problème. Je suis pas du des années 80. Du 21e siècle, en mars 2025. Dansez puis que je vous donne des bisous puis des câlins des bisous que je vous pogne l'air. Faites dans l'air, qu'est-ce qu'on appelle le mode, le style, c'est le twerk. Ah oui, lâchez les fesses en bas bien en haut pour que je chante bien en haut. Ben regarde le soleil. C'est pas le soleil, c'est la lune. C'est pas le soleil, c'est la lune. Et puis pas le poisson d'avril que je vous chante. Let's go, we gotta get it, that rock and roll, you know we hold it. On the up and down we love it, on the up and down we go it, up and down we show it. For another rainbow rock and roll so you can see it, another rainbow rock and roll so you can see it. Another rainbow rock and roll pour le voir, pour le croire, ce rock and roll, tous ensemble. La belle mauvaise, pour le voir, pas d'histoire, ben regarde, belle histoire. Hey, regarde, de l'histoire, puis ça avance. Ça recule, pas de problème. À la danse, ben du temps, mais ça regarde. Je sais pas, mais elle est où la pyramide? Where's the pyramid you gotta see? Where's the pyramid you gotta be? Where's the pyramid you gotta see? Oh, there, that's go a little bit crazy. You gotta go a little bit crazy. That's what I say, you see. Moon is howling. That's the stars of Crowley. Where's the Orion, that's Orion, that means that's Scorpio. Orion is to my right hand, and Scorpio is to my left. So perfect, because I'm going to go towards Orion. That means Scorpio is going to be, now Scorpio is to my left hand, and Orion to my right hand. So la constellation du Scorpion est la main gauche, puis Orion c'est la droite. So that's it, that's all for the left and right. Pour la gauche et pour la droite. That's all we gotta go do it, and that's why I gotta go do it on that. So it's something which we gotta do, so that I see up in the U, what I see up in the blue, that I see up in the blue, so I see up into you. That's the pyramid, ça c'est la pyramide. And that's why we gotta go with it, Ça c'est la pyramide, that's the pyramid. My favorite skyscraper, that's what I said with it. Ça c'est la pyramide, mon gratte-ciel que je préfère. Ça c'est la pyramide, c'est le gratte-ciel que je préfère. Ça c'est la pyramide, le gratte-ciel que je préfère. Et on la danse qu'on descende de la pente, tous ensemble. Pour le faire, j'utilise le coude de service. Et la traverse, c'est la pyramide.